Hey, so Joseph, how's things going in Finland, man?
Yeah, it's nice to be back. I brought the summer.
Yeah.
It's been like 25 degrees or more.
What's that in Fahrenheit? I don't do Celsius.
I don't know. It's perfect t-shirts and shorts weather.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely hot down here in the DR, sweating bullets. So, yeah, man, you ready to record for this podcast?
Yeah, do you know what we're going to talk about or what? Do you have a plan?
No, I don't have a plan yet. I thought you had something to talk about. Man, will you stop typing? Like, every time I'm trying to record with you, you're always typing. Can you just stop it, please?
Well, someone has to work around here.
Yeah, well, I'll get back to work then. Stop type. Shut up. I'm going. Talk to you later.
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed, Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 26 of the No Name RC podcast. This is the second podcast that I labeled Future of RC series. I think the first one was actually Max Mort. I decided to do a Future of RC podcast. I got Camden Lime and Pelle Culmsee. Two young kids that run the same chassis, but in completely different racing cultures. Camden's from America, and Pelle is from Denmark in Europe. So I wanted to get, a comparison. Pelle's a little bit older than Camden, but it went great. I'm going to try to do a Future of RC podcast every month because you know what? I believe the children are the future. I wish I had that song that I could play it right now, but I don't. Yeah, it's pretty good because we have to push these young kids. So thank you to Camden and thank you for Pelle for coming on. Thank you to all the listeners, man. The No Name RC squad from around the world. Getting messages again. I got a message this week. A guy is back into Nitro because of listening to the podcast. That's awesome because Nitro is the glory. We cannot do this podcast without you guys that support us by listening. The other people that go the extra mile and support via Patreon, we thank you as well. I am going to do a giveaway. Don't worry, I have some T-Pro tires to give away that I got from Independent Hobbies, and I have one set left to give. I also have some car stands from my buddy Josh Bayham of JBRC Designs, and don't forget, when we hit 2,000 likes on Facebook, I got that skateboard deck with the and No Name RC podcast logo and everything on it that was done by my buddy Clint Treadway. He's doing some awesome engraving. I always forget the name of his business. I'm sorry, Clint. I'm sorry. I've got a bad head like that. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Fast Race or fastraceshop.com, as I like to say, for sponsoring the 10 question, 10 second segment. There's actually two of them this weekend because we had two of them this week because we had two guests. So, I had to put the music in twice because, I really like the intro for that. Thank you to Assault RC for sponsoring the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. This week, we have Max Mort on to answer some questions. Also, thank you to Techno RC, sponsors of the Grassroots Racer Spotlight, which is becoming very popular. I've recorded quite a few. I've had requests from people to record more, so if I haven't gotten back to you about recording, please shoot me a message. If you want to be on it, please shoot me a message. I am trying to record as many as I can. I do get busy, but, I will fit you in, and I'm sorry if I haven't hit you back. Just send me a message because, sometimes I just forget things, and I do apologize. But thank you to Techno for coming on. Thank you for my buddy Joe Zaire. He came on this week. He actually has a podcast called Run Out of Talent. You should check him out. Obviously, we, like usual, I end up talking too much and we talk for 40 minutes. So I'm sorry, but it's pretty good. And guess what? The Rant is back this weekend. It's just JQ. The JQ Racing Rant is back. It's just myself and JQ. It's a pretty good rant. It's about juniors versus juniors promotion and 40 plus. What we feel should change in RC, and hopefully, hopefully it does. But yeah, and shout out to my JQ Racing family around the world. You guys were racing a lot this weekend, man. Good to see you guys out racing. Guys were racing in Holland or Netherlands, racing in North Carolina, Georgia. Man, I know I'm missing some places, but guys in Florida. Jeff Keaton actually won 40 plus. So congratulations to him. And the guys that went down and raced in Florida. Next week, and we have some races coming up. Oh, sorry. Before we go into that, let me touch on the Lone Star Challenge, or Nats won't really know what happened. I watched a lot of the scoring, and I want to say congratulations to a few people from the JQ Racing team. First off, I want to say congratulations to Jason Stubbs, young Jason Stubbs, 13 years old. I think he might be 14 now. Just started in RC last year, coming out of motocross. Great kid, great father's good, nice family. This kid was in the Sportsman Nitro buggy main. Bumped, was in the C main. Bumped from the C main. Won the B main. Bumped to the A main. Made it all the way up to second early out in the A main. And then fell all the way back down to like 8th, 9th, or 10th. And fought all his way all the way back up to end up finishing third. I thought that was awesome. I mean, I was watching the scoring, and when he did that, I was like, yes, congratulations, Jason. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to Julius Ward. He was also in the Sportsman main. Congratulations to Jeff Pfeiffer. He came 5th in the Open main. And I'm going to say congratulations to my I guess he's my friend. I like him. I don't know why, but I do. We got along. Shane Barrier for winning Open at the Lone Star Challenge, or Nats warm-up. He won Open in Nitro buggy, and it was, Shane's been putting in the work, and he's getting the results, so congratulations to him as well. Pro Nitro buggy, Tebow won Truggy and won Nitro buggy, and I believe Tessman won E-buggy. Yeah, Tebow done well. He's settling in with that techno car. I believe the track looks kind of smooth. It gets a little glossy, so I guess that favors the techno cars as well. He done a good job. I think Bornhorst came 4th. But you shocked me this weekend, and it's showing that his training in Europe with the Viking is paying off. Cole Ogden put in a great performance, coming 2nd. Well done, Cole. Hats off to you, buddy. I like what I see. Well done. Ryan Lutz had a bad weekend. I think something came off on his kingpin, and he finished 8th. Adam Drake finished top 5. Man, Adam Drake showing that, hey, 40 age doesn't matter. You can still be fast, man. All that work Drake puts in at the track, practicing and all that stuff, it's paying off. He's making steady A-mains. He finished 5th this weekend. I wouldn't put it that Adam doesn't make the, I believe Adam will definitely make the A-main or final at the Nationals. I can see it happening. So kudos to Adam. Drake's awesome. He's showing that age is nothing but a number. Put in the time, you can still do well. Who else? We had Bornhorst did good. I should have had a list up here. The Texas kids did. I think Jake Dillinger finished in the top 10. Brandon Rose, I think he retired. Great kid, man. Brandon's super fast. I think he's just got to have things go his way sometimes, and finish these races properly. Dylan Caldwell looked pretty good out there in qualifying. He qualified, made it into the A. Didn't have a really great A main. Jonathan Reeves, little chicken from out of Mississippi, he made the A main. And if I'm missing some guys, I do apologize. Like I said, I just was able to watch the scoring. I didn't actually get to watch the race. Tessman, I can't remember exactly where he finished. I should bring it up on my phone, and then I will know, shouldn't I? I should be prepared for these type of things. I know. I'm sorry, guys. Just me randomly rambling on. So who was our top 5? Jared Tebow, Cole Ogden, Joe Bornhorst, Ty Tessman, Adam Drake. Jake Dillinger. Jared Wiggins went down there, came 7th. Ryan Lutz in 8th. Ethan, I don't know how to say his name properly. Lafleur, he finished 9th. I believe he's a Texas guy. Noah Dickerson made a rare spotting at a race. He hasn't raced in a long time. He ended up coming 10th. Jonathan, Hunter LaFleur, another fast Texan. Jackson Brunson. I have got to get Jackson on this podcast because Jackson is putting in a lot of work. He's focusing on 8 scale. He's making these A mains. Okay, he didn't make the A main at Silver State, but that was a hard race. But I expect Jackson to do really well at the Nationals this year. He actually finished 13th. I don't know if he finished the race. I don't know if he had issues or not. Dylan came 14th and Brandon came 15th. So yeah, guys are putting in the work. It was a great race. Looking forward to the Nationals. I still think Fend is gonna win if his stuff stays together. But Tebow is looking good, man. It's gonna be great. I think this is probably gonna be one of the best Nationals I've seen in a while. One, we don't have to worry about weather. It's under a roof, which I think all Nationals should be. I know I'm sorry, but after being in the rain and stuff like that and watching how much the track changed, I definitely think big races like this should be under a roof. Lutz has lots of time on this track. Lots of time, and he's probably going to get some more time in. So, I'm sure he's got it figured out. So, then you throw in Mayfield and Cavallari. Hopefully he'll have a good showing, and all these other fast kids coming up. I cannot wait for the Nationals this year. I don't know. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I don't. I don't know. We'll see how things go. I hope I do go. So we'll see. But yeah, Lone Star Challenge. Cool. Enough about that. We have the MDA race coming up this weekend at SCRC. I'll be actually eating the chip. I want to say thank you to all the people that donated. We actually managed to raise so far $540, I believe it is. So that's $540 for the Muscular Dystrophy Association or Federation or whatever it's called. The Showers family are putting on that race this weekend. Bobby Moore's there building a track. Next weekend, I believe it's Manufacturers Cup. Or is it this weekend? I don't know. But I saw some pictures of the track. I will say this, man. The guy that builds A-Mains 8 scale tracks, he's badass. He does build some great tracks. Also, we have AMS coming up. Obviously, RCGP. Euros warm up this weekend, I believe. I don't know. There won't be any coverage from it. Couple other races. Paddy Piston race coming up next weekend over there in Ireland. Big race in Ireland. A lot of guys from the UK will be going over there. Maybe I'll get Bradley Baird on here to talk about that next week. Also, what else? Nationals coming up in a few weeks, obviously. Lots of racing going on. AMS is looking pretty good. They got a lot of the top guys there. I guess they're all the pros are getting warmed up and ready for the Nationals. The guys that didn't go to the warm-up here are all going to AMS. I can't wait for the Nationals and the Euros and RCGP. Oh, man, I love it. All this racing. My wife's going to hate me because I'm going to be glued to my computer watching all this stuff. So, yeah, good stuff. I forgot to shout out and say thank you to my good buddy, Brent Densford, Beach RC, JQ Racing USA. Thank you for all that you do. Appreciate it. We have a new distributor in Australia as well. That will be announced soon. Thanks to Tim Rainwright and Replay Hobbies. I believe that's what it's called. I want to shout out to my buddy in New Zealand, man. I definitely have to get to New Zealand and Austria. 1, they're crazy. 2, they use 2 of my favorite words that I can't say on this podcast fluently and affectionately. And 3, them guys like to have a good time and drink a lot of beer. But a good friend of mine who I've become close with over the last year a bit is my buddy Mark Johnston. What's up, Mark? Hope things are going well in New Zealand. I know you guys are racing a lot. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. I know I forgot all about they had a Nationals at Hearts this weekend too. Hearts is one of the probably best 8 scale tracks in the UK. Elliot Boots won. He done well. The main was final. The JQ lads went there and met up for the first time in a long time. Bradley Baird just missed out on making it into the final. But it's all good. You know, that's how things go. So it's good to see 8 scale really going over there in the UK. They don't really have a long season. So, you know, they take advantage of it. Good stuff, man. It's just racing going all over the world. And it's great to see. Great to see. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to ramble on much more. I am doing the Packy Chip Challenge at 7 p.m. Eastern. Facebook Live. I'm going to embrace the suck. Can I make it 5 minutes without drinking some milk? I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to suck, but it's all for a good cause. I'm excited to do it. I'm excited not to do it. I don't know how I feel right now. I'm going to embrace the suck. Yeah. But yes, guys, still working on episode 27. Working on a guest. I'm not announcing who it's going to be. I might be getting a guest on that doesn't actually deal with, doesn't race 8 scale, but I think he's very influential in the RC community. I want to talk to him. Great guy. And something, I knew I forgot something. I'm sorry. I was going to go into the podcast, but I forgot something. Great move, Associated. Great move. Kudos. If I could clap, I would clap. Here we go. I kind of have to hit my chest because I can't clap. Element RC. Oh, man. As you guys know, I'm kind of getting into this. I've always liked scale trail. I'm getting into it. I got myself a Traxxas TRX here, thanks to Brent Beach Hobbies, Beach RC. I also have a RC 4-wheel drive, TF2 long wheelbase, RTR. It's a good piece of kit, something I've always wanted. I would like to get a Marlin, I think, later. But, yeah. Element Associated started Element RC and has brought out their new truck, which debuted at Proline by the Fire. It's a scale event that I watched. Wow, they just like, this is like the biggest. It's the biggest niche in RC, I believe. It's bigger than 8 scale, I believe. It's bigger than 10 scale. Trail, man. It's so great. I hopefully when I get to one of these events one of these days, kudos to Associated for doing that. I mean, hey. I love it. Maybe I'll get one eventually. We'll see how money goes and things like that. But I think they have hit one out of the park with this truck. I'm sure more accessories and stuff is coming out. Element RC is a whole division devoted to scale trail. Well done. Well played, Associated. Well done. Check it out. There's been plenty of YouTube videos. I know you guys are probably saying, but Nitro is the glory. Yes, but you know what? I love all RC, and I'm really getting into this scale stuff. So it's pretty cool. All right, guys, I've rambled on for 16 minutes. Once again, thank you all for the continued support. We're busy pushing out content, working on new guests, segments, everything like that. I do appreciate all the love you guys are giving us. And hey, let's go into the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment.
You are now locked in to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Check out AssaultRC.com for the latest products for all your performance RC needs. Featuring the best lubes and specialty tools on the market. Use promo code LEFTY19 at checkout for 10% off your entire order at AssaultRC.com.
So, welcome to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. This is the segment dedicated to all your setup questions, usually answered by JQ himself, but today I enlisted the help of his apprentice, his Padawan, his protege, Max Mort. What's up, Max? How are you?
I'm feeling good. Yeah.
Back in Finland?
Nothing much more to that. Yeah, back in Finland.
How's the weather
It's kind of
there?
hot, actually, but...
What's hot to you?
Well, it's like 25.
Okay, so that's
The thing is, we don't have ACs here because you don't really need them.
Right,
So
right.
it's like kind of hot indoors.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's 25 doesn't sound too hot to me. But anyway, yeah, I don't know where Joseph is, and I'm kind of tired of hearing his science mode ramblings anyway. So I enlisted you to come help, and I know you know a lot about setup, so I thought it'd be cool to get you on and talk about it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right, so this week's question comes from Brian McGinty, and he wants to know about ride height, droop, and track width, when, how, what, and where to change. So there you go.
Okay, so yeah, track width is kind of unrelated to those first two, so I think let's get that on with that first. more narrow hinge pin width, or you can have wider hexes. But let's say wider hexes first. Generally what happens is there's more offset when you do that. Well, that's always what happens. So there's more offset, and in the result of that, you're gonna have a bit stiffer suspension in the end. So because the tire wants to go out, because the suspension moves in a certain way, but then you make the tire wider or the hex wider. So the tire wants to move out because of that, because it wants to move the same way as it did before, but now it's more out, so it's not in a correct position or whatever. So it makes the suspension a bit higher, stiffer, a harder suspension, and that's one of the things. But that difference is sort of minor. I'd say most of the time, it's a good rule of thumb is a wider car is most of the time easier to drive, and usually it has more grip. It's more easier to predict, and then again, a more narrow car, it has more grip, especially a more narrow rear end has more grip on power or on accelerations, and also in 10 scale, especially four-wheel drive cars run a wider front end than rear end, just to achieve more grip on the rear end on power.
Okay.
But I'd say for me, I really, really rarely change the track width of the car. I usually want to keep it at the maximum. In Nitro buggies, it's 310 or 410 millimeters? I don't know. I think it's 310 millimeters. Most of the time you just want to keep it at the maximum width you can have.
Okay.
And then ride height and droop. This is more of a normal setup adjustment, I'd say. Ride height generally, well, okay, the first rule is if you run the front end lower than the rear end, you're gonna have more turn in. So the front end is already gonna be in a more like diving position because the front is lower than the rear end. So when you go into the corners, it's gonna be faster, like diving. So you're gonna have more grip in the front, which ends up in more steering into the corner. Then, if you want to have the front end higher than the rear end, so the car is kind of wheeling, or one would say, running like a boat. It's the front end is more dull, and it's less turn-in. It's a bit easier to control, I'd say, especially low grip might be. But personally, I always run the front end 1 to 3 millimeters lower than the rear end. That's just because I want to have the front end be really responsive, and I don't want to front end to, like, I don't know what you call it. I don't want to dive and then when I go on throttle go back up. I want it to just keep as low as possible most of the time. And also, like, some people want to run the car higher and some people lower, and it kind of is really, really up to preference and shock setup and stuff like that. But I'd say if you're running a pillow ball car, for example, you want to run the front end much lower than you would run in a C-hub car, because of the fact that the pillow ball is so big that usually the drive shaft has to be quite high compared to the pillow ball. So it's basically the same thing as if you would raise the hub, or raise the drive shaft compared to a C-hub car. What that does, it makes the car grip roll or flip over easier. So that's why you want to run the front ride height lower on a pillow ball car, so that you would not be affected of that, and as in like grip rolling or catching ruts and flipping over. So that's one of the major things I think. And I personally want to run my cars always lower in the front, and usually I'd say a good starting point is around 27, 28 for the JQ car. I run 24, 27, I don't know, but I know Mugen guys used to run 24, 27, and I think that's what most pillow ball cars are running right now. But yeah,
What about
that's probably the
Yeah, I know you like to
biggest
run your car as low as possible. And most guys try to get, obviously, the lower the car is, the more corner speed you can carry. What about when it gets really rough? Like, and you need to raise ride height because of the bumps and stuff like that.
So personally, I lower my ride height when it gets rough.
Really?
Yes, that's because I want if you drive on power, it doesn't really matter how high your ride height is. It mostly matters how stiff your suspension is or what kind of pistons or springs you're running. So most of the time, I might even go lower when it gets rougher because then the car won't suddenly be too high at a corner. Like you can go faster into the corner, so you don't have to be afraid that your car's center of gravity of your car is too high and it's gonna flip over because of that. But let's say I don't really race the car for bumps. There might be instances when a track is really like low speed when it might be beneficial to raise the ride height. Most of the time nowadays, at least, the tracks are so high speed, you're just gonna end up having issues in high speed corners, and like the bumps are gonna throw you higher the higher you raise the car, and it's gonna be a bit more unstable because of the fact that the car is higher and the center of gravity is higher.
So when would you raise your ride height then? When would you, in your instance, raise it, if you do?
I would say if it's like a lot of bumps, but smaller ones, like bumps that don't really flip the car, but they just want to unsettle it a bit. Or bumps that, let's say a track is really dusty and then there's bumps underneath that. Then I would raise the ride height because that would make the car more, like it would go over the bumps. Let's say like it would fly over the bumps. It's a really hard to explain, but I would say like a track that's really dusty, low grip, and the bumps aren't like the bumps don't kick the car up, but the bumps sort of like bounce the car a bit. So on that scenario, raising the ride height, it's gonna have an effect where if you go on power, you go fast into corners or straights or whatever, your car is gonna be able to jump over some of those bumps. So like a really wavy type of bumpy section or something like that, it's gonna be easier with a higher ride height. But then again, if it's like that and it gets high grip, then it's always gonna be harder because it's gonna catch some ruts and all that.
Okay, understandable. So let's talk about droop and when you would adjust it, how you adjust it, and in what conditions.
So droop, personally, for me, the weird thing is I almost never change my ride height or my droop. So it's hard to find a situation where I would change it, but most of the time I find myself, if I change droop, is I reduce from what I usually run, and that's on high grip or tracks that have really like flat type of tracks. So tracks with not a lot of elevation, not a lot of off cambers, like a super like touring style track with jumps. Tracks like that, you're gonna be having more corner speed with less droop. And also, what I found is some people wanna put more front droop, especially on tracks that are bumpy or have like whoop sections or stuff like that. But in reality, I feel like most of the time you're gonna be better off with less droop in your front and more droop in your rear in tracks that are bumpy or have whoop sections. Especially whoop sections, it's gonna be better with less droop in your front because the front is gonna be going over the bumps rather than just sticking to every single
you
one
kind of skip
whoops.
over the jumps instead of even when it comes to even myself, who I'm nowhere near the caliber of driver you or setup knowledge that you have. When I used to run, we had a pretty rough track down here, and people used to run a lot of droop, and my thing was I don't want the tire to fall into the hole I want the car to skip over the top of the hills. Like, you know what I mean? So I try to run as minimum droop as possible as well, for me personally.
Yeah, so for me, all these things are more of a preference type of thing. So let's say Robert Battier, he likes to run a lot of droop, but his driving style is also that he's always punched, and he runs a car that is, it's not really soft, but his cars don't have a lot of pack. So his cars are always that you have to drive it hard. So with more droop, he's never gonna have the effect of like going on an off camber corner or something, and then he just loses grip because of he doesn't have enough droop in the inner wheel or something like that. So it's really a preference thing, in my opinion. Like, there's some rules, yes, like on bumpy tracks, you want to run more droop in the rear most of the time, because you want to have like the rear tires on the ground the whole time. But then again, if the bumps are really like steep, so you're gonna hit the bumps and it's gonna kick your car up, you might want to even have less droop in the rear, because once again it's gonna skip over those bumps. But personally, I like to run not a lot of droop in the front and almost maximum in the rear, depending on the track. But I find that when you have the maximum droop in the rear, you're gonna have less of that slippage happening. Like, you go to off camber corner or bank corner or whatever, and then you suddenly just lose grip. And with more droop, you're gonna have less of that. But then again, you're gonna have a bit less corner speed. But if you're a driver that drives more punched, like myself or let's say Robert Battier, you're gonna have more benefit in having the rear end stick to the ground more than having that little bit of extra corner speed.
Sweet. So I don't really have any more questions about that. I mean, I get what you're saying. Do you have anything to add before we close up on this segment?
Not really. I just for me at least, droop, ride height, springs, stiffness of your shocks or something like that, I think those things come a lot down to like preferences. So a lot of people want to change like links or anti-squat or toe or whatever, but I think the preference stuff comes down to droop and ride height and sway bars and springs. So I think a lot of people should focus more on those things if they have some preferences, because usually the sole setup of the car is, if it's a good car, the sole setup of the car is gonna work for everyone. So yeah, for example, yeah, as I said before, I like lower ride height and a lot lower in the front than rear, because I want the car to steer in when I steer on a radio, and then I want to have more droop in the rear, because I want the rear end to stick to the ground more. And also in the bumps, I usually don't want the car to flip. I want to drive the car hard, so I drive a lower ride height in the bumps sometimes. But then again, also you have to know when you also have to go the other way. For example, the example I gave of a track that is a really dusty and like those wavy kind of bumps, you have to know when to go up on ride height or when to go like a different way. So I'd say these things are, you have to try for yourself. There's rules, of course, but you're gonna find the preferences and you're gonna find what fits you the best, and then what fits around your driving style the best. And I think that's more valuable than listening to me say, okay, when it's this type of condition, do this, because some people just don't drive like that.
Yeah. I think it's something that you have to play with yourself, go to the track and practice. Another thing that I always see you, Joseph, even Dagani doing is constantly checking your ride out throughout the day. A lot of people just set it once and then don't worry about it for the rest of the day, you know? But you guys, every time before you go up to a practice round and everything, I always watch you guys. Joseph does it religiously, checking your ride height, you know? So I think a lot of people miss that too. Constantly check your ride height throughout the day. It's
Yeah,
very important.
I think that's a good thing. I think Drake said once in a video that he always checks the ride height before he goes out, no matter if he just checked it, but always before you go out, and that's what I've done as well. And like every time before you go out, just check your ride height. So it's not a big deal. It takes like a few seconds. Just drop your car and check that it's the same as it was last time. And also, if you're at the race, I suggest you check your droop as well, because the droops are with screws, and those screws and arms wear and bend. So let's say you crash once in a while, you're gonna have more droop or less droop. So I always check. If I like, most of the times I check between every run at a big race, especially if my droop is right, and then before every time I go out, I check my ride height.
Good stuff, man. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Joseph has done a great job teaching you about setup. If you guys ever have any questions about setup, just hit up Max on Facebook. I'm sure he can help you out. He's pretty knowledgeable. Thank you, Brian McGinty, for that awesome question. Remember, guys, if you have any questions about setup, I prefer you put it on the Facebook page, because a lot of people sometimes send me messages, and my messages get pushed on Facebook. So, yeah, good answer, Max. And thank you to Assault RC for bringing us the Invisible Speed segment. Remember, you can go to assaultrc.com, type in Lefty19, and you get 10% off your order. Thanks, Max. Thanks, Brian. And keep the questions coming, guys. This segment's getting real popular. Talk to you later, Max.
Yep, talk to you too.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, this is Camden Lime, and you're listening to the No Name RC podcast.
So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Future of RC segment. This is the segment designed for all these young, up-and-coming racers out there and give them a platform to speak. This week, we have the young man himself, all the way from Arizona, probably one of the younger racers, and one of the more popular racers in America, young Camden Line. How are you, Camden?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. It's a little bit hot here, but I mean, you're in Arizona, so I'm sure you know all about heat. So
Definitely.
for all of you that don't know Camden, he's 14 years old. He's from Peoria. I've messed it up. I can't say it. Where are you from, Camden?
Peoria, Arizona.
Peoria, Arizona. And Camden's been into RC for quite a long time for a young kid. How long have you been into RC for, Camden?
I started when I was 3, so almost 11 years.
Yeah. What was you driving when you was 3 years old?
I had first got a Traxxas Slash, and then I moved my way up.
Yeah.
Started running 10 scale, and then started running 8 scale Nitro when I was about 8 years old.
So was you just like bashing, or did your dad take you to the track? Or
Yeah, when I first got my Traxxas Slash, I just bashed around the front yard. Then my dad finally took me to he was at a plane race, and there's an RC track, and I drove a car, and I did pretty good. So then we started running.
Yeah, because that was my next one of my questions. Did your dad used to race? Or I know he's an avid RC pilot, like in the aviation world.
Yeah. So as most people may know about the old Nitro pit, where DNC used to be held.
Yeah.
There was a flying field right next to the Nitro pit, and I thought the planes weren't as cool as the cars, so I would always go over there and marshal the cars. They taught me how to marshal the cars, and then I would just sit over there for the whole day. And finally, my dad got me an RC car, and I started running at the One Hobbies. It was one of our local tracks, 10 scale. Once I started running there, I moved into 1/8 scale Nitro at Fear Farm, and been running ever since, 8 scale.
But your dad doesn't race; he just flies, right?
He actually had just started getting into racing at the DNC.
Okay.
We think it's we were talking about it. We think it's a pretty good advantage, maybe for setup wise. If he notices something with the car, we can change it before my race.
Did you ever fly with your dad?
Yeah, I've flown before. I'm not the best. I feel like I'm gonna crash it all the time, so I don't like doing it.
You know, Jeff Pfeiffer.
Jeff Pfeiffer.
Yeah, he's a really good
he's
pilot.
good buddies with my dad.
But you know who else is really good? Was a really good national flyer. He's on our JQ team. Mike Hill. He was at Silver State as well. The guy with the glasses, who was he actually used to fly against Jeff Pfeiffer back like in pattern and all that stuff. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, he was actually really good, like as a national champion and all that stuff. So
That's crazy.
He's been telling me all about the flying world. It's so crazy. I didn't realize how much money and how much how popular it is. It's actually probably more.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's pretty. The place that we have, it's still there. It's the only at Speed World. Everything got closed down, including the Nitro pit, besides the flying field.
Mm-hmm.
And they get pretty good entries out there. A lot of good buddies come down.
I would think I think it's actually bigger than what we do in 8-scale racing worldwide. I would say so.
At some worldwide probably. I before we went to Worlds, my dad had a race, and I went and raced at the I forgot what race it was. It was some race in California.
Mm-hmm.
I went there and he raced at his plane race, and I went back, and there was quite a few people there.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Okay, so now you got a Nitro buggy at what age roughly?
Roughly, I would say around the age of 6 or 7.
What was your first Nitro buggy?
My first Nitro buggy was an X-Ray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the
exact. So then you started racing more. When you was that age, where was you racing? Just at the Nitro pit, or was you just focusing?
At that age, Nitro pit had closed. I'm pretty sure it had just closed. I ran at the Nitro pit a few times, but not a lot.
Okay.
So it had closed, so we started running at Fear Farm. And when I started running at Fear Farm, I was mostly running 10 scale at that point then. I started running 10 scale. My dad and Billy Fisher were sitting there, and I started counter steering through the corners and whatnot, and they said, why don't we get him an 8 scale?
Yeah. So that's when you was like, yeah, this is the glory. I'm sticking with 8 scale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Why do you still race 10 scale at all, or?
Oh, yeah, I raced 10 scale a little bit. I probably should start running more, but my last race was the Reedy race.
Okay.
For 10 scale.
Right. Oh, that's a big race. Yeah.
Yeah, really big race. A lot of fast people there.
Oh, I know. What do you like more about Nitro compared to 10 scale?
I just like being outside.
Yeah.
Outside, bigger cars, better jumps.
Yeah.
Less drama.
Well, we're always gonna have drama, but it's like my motto is Nitro is the glory. I like all forms of RC. I actually like two-wheel. I don't race it.
RC is just amazing in general.
I think so too. I think if you're gonna get fast in this hobby, you need to either run two-wheel drive buggy or Nitro buggy. And those are the two classes that will make you fast. And then you can throw in some on-road in there. Because Greg Degani always says, if you want to get fast and off-road, go race on-road to learn corner speed. So, yeah, that's good stuff. So now you're fully focused on 8 scales. So you're running Nitro buggy, truggy, and e-buggy, right?
Yeah, I just recently started running e-buggy.
Okay, how do you feel about that?
It's getting there. I'm just still learning how to drive it.
Yeah, it's so much power, isn't it?
Out of the corners. Yeah, it's just so much torque out of the corner. It's pretty insane.
So when you was young, you're still young, but as you was coming up, because it's like you've been in this for so long. Like I've heard about you for so long. Who were some of your early influences in the hobby, in the industry when you was coming up?
My early influences were definitely Ryan Mayfield. He's helped me a lot throughout the years. He even one race, I didn't have anything built yet, and he built a whole car in a matter of time so I could race. So yeah, Mayfield's definitely one of my biggest influences, still to this day. When coming up, definitely just Tanner Denny was one of the bigger influences too. He's a really good guy. He showed me how to go fast, I guess.
Yeah, he's actually doing pretty good lately, like the last year.
Yeah. And then Billy Fisher, he really helped me and my dad out a lot.
Does he still race, Billy?
I know he doesn't race, I don't think. I think he went to that Chili Bowl race for the
oval racing. Yeah.
Yeah, the oval. I think he does that sometimes. I think.
That's cool.
If I remember correctly. I haven't really talked to him in a while.
That's cool. So, tell us some of your early successes that started like to kind of put you on the map in the RC world when you was younger?
So definitely, when I went to California, it was one of my bigger races, like one of the bigger races in California called the Duel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I raced that. I was running the sportsman class there, and I won Nitro buggy, and then I got third in Nitro trucky, and I was super pumped on that when I came back to Arizona. Also, 1 year in JBRL, I won. I think I podiumed every time I went there. So I think I got fourth overall in the point series because I didn't go to every race. So definitely those two. And then DNC, I ran another sportsman race, and I ended up getting second overall, and I was really pumped on that.
Yeah, and didn't you come make the podium in 2018 in the open class as well?
Yep. I finished second behind your driver Max Mort.
Yeah.
And the DNC
and so
expert Amen.
So now you're running pro everywhere you go, right?
Yep. Yeah. I'm running pro now everywhere I go.
I think the only other kid your age who's running pro at these bigger races is like CJ. Yep. So
CJ John.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. It's a lot of people out there. Making that transition to pro, how are you finding it? It's hard, isn't it?
Oh, I'm finding it awesome. It's very hard. I mean, coming from being front runners in the intermediate to being down in like 20th overall and pro, it's hard to comprehend. But once you start gaining pace, it's a lot better.
Yeah, and I think it's the right thing for you because you're going to be racing against faster guys.
Yeah. And
you just get faster anyway. So I think it's awesome.
There's only way to go up, pretty much.
Who made that decision? Was it you or your dad?
It was kind of both of us. We both agreed after DNC that at Silver State, no matter what, we're gonna run pro.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever really noticed you was one time was it DNC, and you actually was commentating one of the races, and I thought that was pretty cool. Do you like doing that type of stuff?
Oh yeah, I love. I did that a lot. I helped Live RC with their camera work, and then I also liked announcing. So sometimes back home, if we ever need an announcer, I'll just announce the races.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You seem like a very nice kid. I've met you a few times. You're very polite. Your dad's done a really good job. Of raising you. You're racing a lot, man. He takes you a lot of places. I've seen you go to Mexico. Yeah. I know you race all over
amazing.
California, New Mexico, those areas. How do you, I think that's really cool that you get to do that with your dad. How do you feel about, even East Coast? You came to the Nationals last year.
Yep, I've went to every national since 2014.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's amazing. I don't know for sure yet, but I'm most likely going to the AMS Alabama.
Oh yeah,
shootout.
That's a great race to go. I went last year after the Nationals. It was good. It's nice.
Yeah.
The East Coast, I really enjoy the East Coast racing.
Isn't it before Nationals this year?
Yeah, it's the same weekend as ours. It's the first.
As RCGP. Yeah, right.
It's actually a few races on that weekend. But last year was after the Nationals, like a week or.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I actually went to that, and I actually raced for the first time in a long time. So I had a blast.
Oh, wow.
Dave this is your first first time going to a race time entertainment race?
Yes. I haven't really raced much in the East Coast besides Nationals, pretty much.
Well, you're gonna. This is good. It's a good race, man. Dave puts on a good show. You can pit outside underneath the I don't know the word for it. They have like a shelter outside, but it's all open, but it has a roof. It's just perfect. You ain't gotta be inside, and it does get a little bit hot, but Bobby does a great job on the track. And, the East Coast.
Yeah, I love his layouts.
Oh yeah, Bobby's just a track making machine right now. He's doing tracks everywhere.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere at East Coast races is really good. Like the people are nice. There's lots of kids running around having fun. Like you're gonna like it. You're gonna enjoy. I enjoyed my time.
That's the best right there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So now let's. You did go to the Worlds last year. Was that your first Worlds? You went to.
I actually went to the one in Vegas.
Okay, but you got to travel. Worlds. Yeah, so you got to travel all the way to Australia. How did you like
Yeah,
that?
it was amazing. It's one of the greatest experiences I've had in my life, and
Yeah.
probably will have.
Yeah.
It was just breathtaking, the whole experience.
Yeah. Was that the first time you've like flown out of America? Like been
Yeah, it was my first time flying in America.
mhm.
I've been to Mexico,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much the outside of America.
And
I've
you
been
got to hang with all the HB guys because everybody stayed in the same like area.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. How did you like? What did you like most about Australia? Did you see anything crazy that shocked you? Anything like that?
Just like the driving was very weird, sitting in the driver's seat pretty much,
Oh, well.
driving around in
Yeah.
the driver's seat, and then also probably seeing kangaroos just like walk around you is pretty cool.
I think that'd be. I want to go. Like Australia's like, they have everything that can kill you. Like everything that can kill you fast is in Australia.
Yeah.
So you
Yep,
know,
pretty much.
The only other place that I can compare that to in America is probably Florida, like with alligators and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
snakes and stuff. So I like, I hope to go one day myself, do some great white cage diving and stuff like that. So you went to the Worlds. That's pretty awesome. Now you're back in America. Let's talk about your present day because you're 14 years old. You race a lot. You race quite a lot.
Yep.
And you go to school, right? So you're in regular school.
Yeah, I go to my a regular public school.
And how do you balance that?
So our school, you can miss 25 days, like per, I guess, half. So we have two halves. So I try to, when I go to a race, I let them know a week before, get all my schoolwork, and then get all that schoolwork done while I'm at the races. Come back to school, and it's pretty much like I never missed it. Besides, obviously, being there, learning, I guess. So when I get all that work done, when I come back, they like fully teach me everything, and then everything's back to normal till I leave again.
Okay, so they're pretty understanding. They work with you. That's good. What do your friends think about you when you're going off to race toy cars? Not toy cars. I slapped myself for saying that. For racing RC cars.
Most people will think it's like, I don't know, they find it weird that I'm going to race a little RC car in Australia. But most of my friends think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do they any of them come watch you race?
I've had one of my buddies come and watch, but I don't really know. I just tell them, hey, I'm gonna be gone, and then they just kind of.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, though. I mean, they're not doing things like that, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's definitely something different. I think it's really cool that your school actually helps you out with that, too. So that makes things a lot easier as well.
Going into high school, though, I don't know if I'll be missing as much of school I did this year.
Okay, yeah, because, like, you have to graduate. You got it.
Yeah.
I'm not really too familiar with American school systems, so you have how many years of high school?
I have 4 years of high school. I'm actually promoting the 8th grade tomorrow. And then I go into high school for 4 years, and then I will go to college for another 4 years.
So how are your grades in school?
My grades are actually really good. Like I don't know how I get really good grades. It's just I just try to put in the time and effort. I mean, you have to if you want to.
Yeah,
start
anything
racing more.
And well, in life, period, you have to put in the time and effort to get better at anything. Do you have any other hobbies or sports that you play?
I'm actually playing golf now. I'm gonna play golf in high school. I love riding dirt bikes. Anything with wheels, I love pretty much.
Yeah.
I also love to play baseball. I love football. I just love sports in general.
You're pretty busy, dude.
Yeah.
What's your favorite team sport? Baseball or golf? I mean, baseball or golf. Or football.
Probably baseball since I've played it most of my life.
What position do you play, or do you like to play?
I play shortstop or second base. Me and my buddy switch off when we played.
Yeah, my son, he's been practicing here in the Dominican Republic since he's about 4. So he's going 7. So now he can actually start playing. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Our school has a school softball team, so I played on that with a bunch of my buddies. And on that team, I played second base throughout the season. So I just love it. It's fun.
I love baseball too. I used to play back when I was home in Bermuda. The American Navy base had baseball and stuff, so I used to play over there. I enjoy it. My son likes it. Baseball is like life down here in the Dominican Republic. So yeah, that's pretty cool. How about golf, man? When did you get into that?
When I was really little, like right when I got my first RC car, me and my dad played golf a lot. I played when I was really little, and I stopped because I started playing football a lot, football and baseball. And then once I stopped playing, once my season of baseball ran out, I had quit football because football we played on Saturdays when we had games, and on those Saturdays I would usually race. So I had to stop playing football because it was taking up my racing schedule.
Yeah.
But I recently got into golf about a few months ago, and I've been putting in a lot of effort to get a lot better, and
yeah,
it's been getting good.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of you. That's pretty cool. I've never played golf in my life. It looks like fun. I don't know if I have patience for it, so I don't know.
If you come back down, when you come back down to the States, we'll take you to Top Golf.
Yeah, should be good. I'm probably gonna suck, dude. But that's all right. It's all right. So, how long have you? You're a big part of the. I would say you have probably one of the more popular HB racers in America. When did you join the HB team? And how do you feel being a part of that? Which I think they do a really good job of being one of the best teams in RC. How do you feel being a part of that with Rana Falk and Cole Ogden, Adrian Bertin?
It's definitely amazing.
Yeah.
Cole and Shane Ogden helped me out so much. David is awesome. Like, he'll help anyone at any time. He's definitely one of my role models now, as I'm getting a little bit older.
Yeah.
I mean, Colin Herzig, he's a good guy on the America's team.
Yeah.
And I love the atmosphere in the pits, and when team helping, when you're looking for setups and whatnot, everybody will tell each other what's on their car and what will make it better.
Yeah. How long have you been running HB now?
Let's see. I started in, I think it was 2016 DMC. So
yeah, 3 years roughly. Yeah.
I think about 3 years. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
3 years.
That's awesome, man. I think they do a great job as well. Ronafalk is definitely probably one of my favorite pros out there. The way he attacks RC is so professional. It's
it's.
I can understand why he's your role model.
It's definitely. Yeah, even when we were at when I went to Reedy Race, I was rebuilding my car, and he just told me like step by step what I should do, what will just make it more efficient on working on your car.
So now, as you're getting older, you're maturing more in your racing. What has changed in your racing program from when you was a little younger? What are you doing to get better now?
For sure, like at Silver State, I definitely felt a little off pace with my speed than usual, because usually I'm pretty quick, but my consistency is not there.
Right.
But my run times in the first 2 rounds of both Chuggy and Buggy were at 98% consistency. So I've been really working on just going a little bit slower around the track, getting more consistency. And I know when as I'm getting that consistency, the speed will come. I'm also wrenching on my cars by myself now.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, I wrench on my own stuff. I'm probably going to go to my dad's soon so I can go get my car ready for the MDA.
Yes, the MDA race. I actually have raised $500 for that so far, and I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that's amazing. What you did for that, that's just awesome.
Yeah, it's not gonna be amazing next week when I have to eat that packy chip though. So, it's gonna suck, but it's for a good cause. The Shower family is a really good family. Very nice people.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
I like their track that they have there. Joseph and I had a lot of fun there, and it's gonna be awesome. If I can help, that helps. That's perfect.
Yep.
So now that you're racing a lot more, who do you consider one of your biggest rivals in RC? It doesn't have to be in your area, but just when you go to a race, you want to beat this guy.
I'm not there yet. I'm not beating him yet, but CJ is one of my rivals just because we're the same age.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome seeing him really making A mains and top qualifying and whatnot. So I want to get up there with him and battle it out with him.
Oh yeah, CJ is definitely a very talented young man. I'm happy to see him, excelling as well. I think, but if you have that, I think if you have the right attitude, which you sound like you do, and you're being persistent, and if you follow what Ronald Falk's doing, I don't think that you beating him eventually isn't something that isn't unattainable. You can do it. You're definitely getting faster. You're putting in the time. It's just a matter of getting the results now, man. That's all.
Yep.
And keep it up.
Also, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, dude. Sorry.
All right. Also, another two of my other rivals. At Silver State, Colin Herzig is super fast, so I like battling with him.
Mm-hmm.
He at Silver State he didn't show up till main day, which kind of stinks. And also Ryan Pavitas.
Yeah. Pavitas is a good kid. He's kind of doing it on his own too.
Yeah, me and him battle it out a lot.
Yeah, he seems to I know his dad doesn't come and help him out that much, but he's kind of tackling it on his own. I'm gonna actually have him on this podcast too. I talked to him at Silver State. I like Ryan, a great kid.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So when you're not at the track, I have to ask this because I know a lot of parents take their kids out of school and make them focus on RC, or not just RC, but sports or anything that they do, period. When you're not at the track, you're a teenager now, you're still young, but you're just become a teenager. Do you do teenager things with your friends, hang out with them? Do you still have time to do that?
Oh yeah, I actually got back to my friend's house today, at an hour before we did this. Yeah, I like hanging out with my friends a lot, but if somebody had asked me to hang out, but I had an opportunity to go to a race, I'll pick that race.
Yeah.
And also with me golfing a lot more, I've been trying to do that. So if I want to, I can, but I've been trying to focus on other things.
Yeah, if you
not try to get into bad habits or anything.
Yeah, because it's you're at an age where you want to have fun, and I'm sure girls are coming into the picture as well because you're still young. But I remember when I was 14. But you have to stay focused, and sacrifices. Maybe not hanging out with your friends, but going to the track and practicing, or going to the and going to swing the golf club or something like that. So you definitely seem to have your head on the right, on the right, your head and your blinders on. You know what you want, and that's great to hear because that's what it takes to be good, man. To be good at anything. So good stuff. Let's talk about a little bit of your future. You're still, like you said, you are 14 years old. What are some of your immediate goals in RC, that you would like to accomplish, in the next year or so?
I think everyone that gets into RC's goal is to win a world championships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's definitely. I'm asking a lot if I can get there, but for now, my goals are just to start making A mains consistently.
Mm-hmm. That's that you gotta. To attain your ultimate goal, you have to have small ones in between, and you have to enjoy the journey that that goes on between that. So that's feasible. Make it to the A mains, then you can go from there. I think that's perfect.
Yep.
Outside of RC, what are your goals in school?
Straight A's. So
Yeah.
That's one of the main things in my house is if you're anything lower than pretty much an 85%, you're not racing.
Yeah. Do you maintain that? Well, obviously you maintain it. Do you find that hard to do?
With traveling, yeah, it's pretty hard. Because once you get to that race, you want to focus on racing and not your schoolwork.
Yeah.
But I get it done.
Yeah, it seems like it because you're racing a lot. So 85% is a high level though. So I never got that level in school, but that's good that you do it. So I guess you find once you get in school, you're finding it pretty easy. You seem like a very smart kid, you know. So I guess that's transferring over into your schoolwork.
Yep.
Good stuff. Okay. So you said you're gonna go to school, go to college after this. What do you wanna? If you know, I know obviously you wanna be RC is what you wanna do, but is there something else that you would like to do, like education wise? Like what would you like to study? What would you like to be eventually?
If I know if I don't make it into the RC like professional, fully traveling, like that's your job level, and I want to be becoming an engineer for one of the main companies. I with Torrance always helping me out is kind of like showing me like what's going on with engineering wise, and it's cool just watching him like design stuff.
Yeah, Torrance is a smart dude. I'm sure you're learning a lot from him. Yeah, man, I think that's a good plan. You know, it's always good to have a plan B. If you like this, if you really love this hobby and you feel you have a talent for that, you should go for it as well because school is important, very important. Education is definitely important. All right.
Yeah.
So tell me something. What do you really like about RC at the moment? Like what draws you to RC?
My first main reason is just the tracks are just so cool now. Like everybody's making some sick tracks. Like every track you go to, they got some sick jumps, sick triples, whoop sections, long straightaways. Like everything is just fun on the track.
Yeah.
Second, just having the thrill of being on the driver's stand, having a thrill of battling with people is just fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you get nervous on the stand at all?
If I get nervous, but it's not to the point where it's like it'll mess me up. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you've been doing it for a while now, so you should be good. What don't you like in RC, and what would you like to see change?
I feel I wish more younger kids would get into the hobby, so it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So I would love to see, I guess, the hobby get larger in many ways.
How would you? Do you think that's because maybe RC isn't perceived as cool as like football, baseball, motocross, and whatnot?
Yeah, I just feel like it's not cool because there's no physical aspect in it. Like there's nothing people get a joy of. I mean, yeah, it's cool seeing a car jump in the air once or twice, but there's nothing like in football. You'll see people get tackled and people like get hurt and stuff. Like people find that cool, which I mean it isn't cool. I mean in motocross they have a chance to crash and people find that cool too. So yeah, RC is cool for some people to watch, but we need to make it to the next level.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's funny whenever I travel and I'll have my car stuff or whatever, the people would, I'll get stopped and oh, what's this? And I tell people what I'm going to do, whatever. They don't even believe that we race this. Like people do this for a living and whatnot. So
yeah,
it's pretty amazing, man. I definitely want to see that change in RC. And yeah, I think like having you, I'm hopeful. I want to see more young kids get into this as well because this is, yes, it's expensive, but it's not as expensive as motocross or many other sports that people play.
It's definitely like the main part is there's two things that people wouldn't think of racing RC cars. It takes time and it takes money. I mean, motocross, it takes a lot of money just to get one good bike.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to need like 2 once you start racing.
Mm-hmm.
Practice bike, race bike. So I think just people need to understand and notice that our hobby is super fun.
Yeah, I think people get misled and they feel, oh, this is easy. I can do it. And
Yeah.
you know, they were like, and when they're not as good as they think they are, they get disappointed. But that's when you actually have to sit down and learn how to do things, like, you know, and then you get better and you have to keep pushing. Just because we don't physically sit in these cars or anything like that, it isn't easy. Like, I mean, it's actually harder. Like, you're not in the car, so you can't see exactly what's in front of you or what's going on out there. So it's good stuff.
Yeah.
So what would you say to the older generation in our, I like to call this a sport, or I call it scale motorsports. There's a lot of older guys in there. I'm one of them. I'm all about change. What would you say to the older generation as a younger racer up and coming?
I think our racing program now, from when some of the 40 over guys ran back in the day, I think people find that, I mean, I find it fun. I find it fun running on your own clock, and then you get to actually race head on head. I think most people, if people are trying to make it more public, viewer friendly, I guess, more entertaining, something's got to change about the way we qualify.
Yeah.
Which I think what RCGP doing about the heads up racing and the qualifying.
Yeah.
I think that's a step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, but speaking of RCGP, have you had a chance to watch any of it? What did you think?
Oh yeah, when I was at Source Day, I was watching most of it. When I had some free time, I watched it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I gotta say, the post interviews and all that was really cool to watch. It looked really fun.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a step. Obviously, I'm fully 100% RCGP. But I definitely think it's a step in the right direction to make an RC cool. And but it's change, and change is hard. Everybody says they want change, but nobody actually wants to change. So
Yep.
What would you say to younger kids? I mean, I know you're still young, but what would you say to these younger kids that are coming up and racing now? What would you say to them?
I would say just keep practicing. I know my dad doesn't like me saying this because I like to run, and I know my car. I know when I know my car's good, I just like to run and run and run and run, which is not good because you need to change stuff. You need to make your car even better. But get that practice in. Start working on your own cars, because once I started doing it, I feel just more comfortable driving my car.
Yeah. How are you good at are you really good at wrenching now, or are you still learning?
I'm getting there. I'm good at wrenching. I know what to do now for everything. Besides, I know what to do for everything. Now it's just learning like everything setup wise, like what the car's doing, what I need it to do, and whatnot.
Okay. So your next race is the MDA race. Then I take it on AMS. Then are you going to Nationals this year too?
What's that?
Are you going to the Nationals as well this year?
Yes, I am going to the Nationals this year.
Have you been to Thornhill before?
I've been there twice.
Yeah.
I went there in 2014 when it was open, and I went there 2016 for Nationals, and I'm going Denver this year.
It looks like a great facility. I'm going to probably go see.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the finals here later on from the warm-up. So I think it's going to be fun. I'm not sure if I'm coming, but I'm sure you will have fun. How do you like going to these races and hanging out with your dad?
It's definitely cool seeing me and my dad being a team. Seeing other people not have I guess have their somebody that knows you as a person as much as I mean it's just cool having someone there, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely for like support, and then also if I need something, they're there to do it.
That's awesome, man. After the Nationals, what do you think you're going to do race-wise, or are you going to just chill out for a little bit during the summer?
After nationals, I think me and my dad are gonna take breaks, but I don't really know after nationals what I'm doing yet, so
Yeah.
I haven't fully planned out my summer schedule.
Man, just have fun. That's what you got to do. You're young.
Yeah.
I'm just having fun. You want to play golf, go play golf, goof off. I don't know. That's what I'd be doing. That's for sure. Cool, man. Well, you enjoy your summer. Before we go into the fastraceshop.com 10 question, 10 second segment, is there anybody you would like to thank or anything you would like to say to people?
Yeah, I would like to thank my sponsors, HB Racing, aka Orion, Futaba, VP Fuels, J&T Bearings, Expert Servos, XTR, SCRC Stick It One, MH Designs, DHRC Raceway, Circus RC, and Absolute Hobbies.
Awesome. Would you like to say anything to anybody out there?
Yeah, I would also like to thank my parents and everyone that supported me over the years. And also, if you're getting into the hobby, just keep at it. You'll definitely get there.
Yeah, and have fun doing it. I would say. I would add to that.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Have fun.
Now we go into the Fast Trace 10 questions in 10 seconds segment. Fast Trace is a world champion option parts brand made in Italy. Fast Trace drivers include Davide Ongaro and Riccardo Berton, and they run the innovative performance-enhancing parts that Fast Trace makes for most 1/8 buggies, including the world-famous honeycomb shock bladders and caps. Go to fastraceshop.com and type in Lefty 2019 to get 10% off your purchase now.
All right. So, Camden, are you ready for the fastraceshop.com 10 question, 10 second segment?
Yep.
All right. Number 1, your favorite RC driver ever.
Favorite RC driver? Probably Masami.
Okay, good answer. Number 2, I'm not sure if you're a gamer. Most kids are. Fortnite, PUBG, Apex, or Battleground?
I actually don't play any of those.
Oh, what do you play?
I played Fortnite before. I play my favorite game is Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game too.
I gotta get that. My son's been on me to get it, so definitely got to get it myself. All right, number 3. Who's your favorite golfer?
Favorite golfer, I would say, it's a hard one. Phil Mickelson, since he's went to ASU.
Okay. Number 4, Truggy or e-buggy? One of them's got to go.
Gotta go, e-buggy.
Ah, good man. All right, number 5, what's your favorite subject in school?
Favorite subject in school, math.
Really? Okay. Now, number 6, what's your worst subject in school? Your least like?
Reading, ELA, language arts.
Okay. Number 7, who's your favorite motocross rider?
Cole Seeley.
Okay. Number 8, Mayfield, Ronnefeldt, or Ongaro. Who's the best at the moment?
Man, that's a tough one. I think on skill level, like just the way he's been driving, probably Ongaro. But they're all just amazing. Like I don't understand how they're so good.
Yeah, I think they're 3 of the best right now in 8 scale anyway.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
All right, number 9. You're an avid baseball player. Who's your favorite baseball player of all time?
Favorite baseball player of all time? I would say Mike Trout. He's just a good guy.
All right. And number 10, if you wasn't racing RC cars, what would you love to race?
Probably motocross for sure.
Okay.
Supercross, motocross, just anything with the dirt bike.
Awesome. Well, Camden, thank you for joining us on the No Name RC podcast. Thank you for participating in the fastraceshop.com 10 question, 10 second segment. I appreciate your time, dude. Keep up the good work. And I'll see you at the next race, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Tell your dad I said what's up. And, yeah, have a good day, man.
All right. Thank you.
This is the Mini Viking Pelle Culmsee, and you are listening to the No Name RC podcast. Let's spark no out. That means let's kick some ass.
So, hey, everybody. Welcome to the Future of RC segment. This is the segment that I'm trying to do to bring these future young stars that we have in RC to the forefront and give them a place to talk. This week, our guest is all the way from Hulmsee, Denmark. Did I get that right? Hulmsee?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Okay.
It's, hard to
pronounce.
To say.
Yeah. So we have Pelle Culmsee. Now, did I say your name right?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. If you guys don't know who Pelle is, he's an 18-year-old from Denmark. He's a 9-time Danish champion. He's made the semifinals at Euros, DHL Cup finalist, and recently the first ever RC2 RCGP champion in Nitro buggy in Philippines. How are you, Pelle? Welcome to the No Name RC podcast.
Thank you. I'm very good.
Yes, very excited because you done really well at the Philippine race, and now people kind of know who you are. So I said it'd be great to get you on this podcast because you are young, you are an up and coming racer in the RC world. So I said, hey, let's get you on and talk to you. So yeah,
it's nice to be in this podcast.
Yeah, it should be good. I think it's gonna be fun, and people are definitely gonna know more about you by the end of this podcast.
For sure, and hopefully.
Yeah, I think so. So let's start off with your early beginnings. Like, how did you get into RC?
I have been in RC since I was born, basically. Cause my family has been racing RC for 30 years now, more or less. So I started to go. I think I was at my first race when I was 1 week old. Just supporting my uncle racing.
So your dad races or your uncle?
They both did.
Okay.
They both did, but now it's just me and my uncle racing together. Yes.
And who else in your family races?
Just my uncle and me now. Yeah.
So what did you start out with when you first started racing? Was it Nitro buggy?
When I started to drive when I was 3 years old with the mini set cars.
Yeah, Mini Z. Yes.
Yeah. We have at my local track, we had an indoor track for these. So they told me, just to drive them around the track with not hitting the
borders, the wall.
Yeah.
The road. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just started to drive around there, and then I think 1 year later I went out for the outdoor track with my uncle, and then we started practice more or less there. Yeah. And then I had my first Danish nationals when I was 6 years old with Nitro buggy.
No way. How did you make out?
I actually not really good. I think I was in the lowest main final.
Yeah, that's all right.
And didn't bump, but yeah, it was okay, for the first race. I wasn't last, so.
When did you start getting better? When did you win your first Danish nationals?
In 2013.
Okay, so 6 years ago.
Yeah, we had that year we had only one Danish national in 1 weekend, and I won there with the truggy. I didn't TQ. I didn't do any qualifiers because it was raining.
Yes.
And we both drove buggy and truggy at the same time. On the same day. So it rained and we didn't have time, to clean both of the cars.
Okay.
So I actually didn't run any of the qualifiers in the truggy, and then I went out for the main and won with 1.5 lap.
Yeah. So they race truggy. They race truggy in Denmark. Is that pretty big there?
It's swinging. Sometimes it's big and sometimes it's not.
Okay. But when did you win your first buggy national championship in Denmark?
I won my first, buggy win. Just one of the rounds was in 2014. Then I won my first buggy nationals in 2016.
Okay, so not that long ago, 3 years ago, you would have been 15. So was that like your first real success, you would say, in racing?
I think, yeah, when I joined HB Racing back in late 2015, and I think like after this, my racing program just got one step higher. So I think already there, I have success races all the way up, I will say.
Yeah, when did you... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it was like my biggest success with winning the nationals there.
Yeah, how did
the first big?
That's pretty cool. How did getting on the HB team come about?
I wanted to, get on a real team, and then I have been known David Ranafalk for some years, as I have been with my uncle and some 2 races. So I just wrote to him and asked him about an email and who should I write to, and he gave me an email, and then it's just like started from there.
Yeah. What was you racing before HB?
I was racing for 10 scale. I was racing Schumacher because I did some touring car superstock racing back then, and then in Nitro I raced a brand called Hong Nor.
Yes, I remember them. Yes, I remember Hong Nor. Yeah, they're still around actually. I used to race.
Yes.
I used to race the jamming cars that they produced back in the day. So,
yeah.
I was actually talking to Jammin' J the other day. He's gonna come on the podcast too. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
So you get to HB racing, and what was it with HB that actually changed and helped you get better?
I think, of course, the cars, because they have always been on point. They're really good, and then I think the support from David, and especially from Adrian Burton.
Yes.
David's mechanic and the team manager. From there, it just took a big step forward, because he was, at the big races, he was my mechanic and everything, and he just taught me a lot of things.
Adrian, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart guy, very smart.
Yeah, really smart guy. He's one of the best in this industry for setup and engines and how to. He was also a good, mental support to calm you down. Told you how to drive around the track. Yeah,
and I think having Ranafalk as well nearby. I think Ranafalk's probably one of these pro drivers that I think actually attack this from a very professional. Not saying that the other guys don't, but talking to him in general, like on the podcast and just talking to him, chatting with him, he takes this stuff very professional. He has a very good attitude towards it. His mental game is on point, and I think that's why he's already a world champion, and he's probably got a few more left in him before it all stops.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right. So HB was you joined HB 2015. You won your first Danish Nats, and then you kept. Did you? You even won this last year, I believe. You became the national champion as well. Correct?
Yeah, I have won the Danish nationals the last 3 years in more or less all classes. Yeah.
Well, being as well, let's talk about racing in Denmark. Tell us a little bit about that. I don't know too much. We do have a few JQ drivers there, but I know they have the one RC Thunder track that I've seen, but I don't really know too much about actual racing in Denmark.
Yeah, the track you see there, Nuno is a really nice guy, and it's a really nice indoor track. Really perfect, actually. But the racing in Denmark is like a small family. We're not that many racers because we're a small country.
Yes.
So But it's like we all very good friends. We all talk to each other, help each other out with tires, setup, mechanics, everything. So it's like, we have this. Yeah, every race is just very fun. Everybody is not, yelling at each other. It's just
Fun.
Calm races, fun races.
Yeah. And I see like the same guys on the podium. It's you, it's another young black kid. I don't know his name.
Oh yeah, that's my friend Daniel.
Yeah.
He's very nice.
Yeah, he's it's good to see a young black man on the podium for myself, I don't get to see that much in RC.
No.
And then we have I think one of the JQ guys is pretty good
Yeah,
too.
these two guys are like my biggest rivals in Denmark.
Oh yeah.
Especially the JQ guy, yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what? I'm bad at names. Because I barely talk to him. I forget his name.
His name is Magnus.
Yes, Magnus. That's it. So yeah, I've talked to him a few times. He doesn't have like a Facebook profile and all that stuff, and he hits me up once in a while. Good guy, nice guy. He's pretty good too. He's in school as well. But Daniel is your rival as well, right?
Yeah, but he's like, we're more like very, very good friends.
Are you guys the same age or?
No, he's 6 years older than me.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good, man. That's good. You should tell him to go to RC to Austria next month. It'd be great. Get him to go there.
Yeah, but I think he go to the Danish Nationals instead.
Okay, got that.
We have that the same weekend, so.
So how many tracks do you have there in Denmark?
Off-road nitro tracks, we have 2 indoor tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have 2 tracks in my area.
Mm-hmm.
And then about... I think we have like about 7 tracks in Denmark or something.
Okay. How many races do you get to like a national race, would you say?
This year we have 7 Danish nationals.
Yeah, but I know probably everybody doesn't go to them, but how many entries, like how many people?
Yeah. It also swings a lot, actually. But from sometimes we're 30 if we're really much drivers, really many drivers. And if we're really low, we're like 22, 23 drivers.
Yeah, that's a little bit of drivers, but the skill level that's coming out of there is pretty good, I would say.
I mean, we have some, that's not they're not the best drivers, but then we also have some, it's more skilled than other drivers here. It's not like you go to if we just go to Sweden, the skill will be a lot higher still. Yeah,
well, while we're on the topic of geography, I have noticed lately that Sweden, like I call you guys the Scandinavian countries or the Viking countries, besides Finland, because there were no Vikings in Finland, as Joseph likes to tell me all the time. They were reindeer, nomadic reindeer herders. I done my research on it. Not all of them, but you get it. I like to tease him about that. The Scandinavian countries seem to be coming out in force with lots of young talent. You have yourself, Juna Hattinen, Hampusberg. Obviously, you have Ronafalk, Max, Pekko, Ivanonen. I don't know too many Norwegian guys. Maybe you can fill me in.
We have Jessica.
Jessica Paulsen, yes, from Sweden. She's
she's good. And then we also have the 110 star. No, he's actually pretty good at everything he races. Elias Johansson.
Yes, I've heard that name. Yes,
he's really, really good actually.
Oh yeah, he's young too, right?
Yeah, I think he's in like 8th or 9th grade in primary school, so he's very young. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, there's definitely a good group of young racers coming out of the Scandinavian countries. Do you guys race against each other a lot? Do you travel to different races in that area to race against each other?
Actually, no. I did like one Swedish race last year, and Hampus did like one Danish race last year. So not we only race each other at the European races, more or less.
Okay.
'Cause I think we all have a very, busy schedule.
All right. That makes sense. But you do get to the DHL Cup, and that's one of the bigger, bigger 10 scale.
Of course, we start out the year with
that's
racing
a
each other.
big 10 scale race there for the Scandinavian countries. I'm wondering,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool to see because it's like a group of young guys coming out of Italy. There's a group of young guys coming out of your area. Spain, England, every country's got a group of young guys that are other region that are pretty fast and competitive and almost on the same level, I would say. There are a few stars, obviously, like David Angaro and stuff like that, but yeah, most definitely. So are you So are you still in school, Pelle?
Yes, I am in the finishing second year of high school, going into senior year after summer.
So how do you balance RC and school?
Oh, sometimes it's very difficult because we have a lot of homework and assignments, and I need to rent my cars to the races. So luckily I have made a deal with my high school, so I can go to races without
Oh, really?
getting kicked out of school. Yeah,
That's good.
and can move my dates for the assignments and everything, so it fits into my schedule of racing. So that's really nice.
Yeah, I would say so. That's awesome.
So I sometimes when I went to the Philippines, I did 2 assignments on that week. Otherwise,
You wouldn't have went. How are you making out in school? You doing good?
I think I'm doing I'm not doing the top grades,
Right.
but some middle, I will say. It's medium.
Medium. I like that word. Do you have any other hobbies? Do you play any other sports besides RC?
When I was younger, when I started in school in first grade, I started to play football, soccer.
Okay. Do you still follow soccer?
My granddad was he really likes soccer.
Oh, yeah.
So we started that as together. He was also my coach some years. And then when, racing, when I then joined HP Racing, just took over everything. So I stopped.
Yeah.
As it would be too much.
Yeah, you can't. It's really hard. To be fully focused on RC, you really can't have any other distractions, it seems like. So, or any other sport that you want to excel in, So, I get that. How about, do you do outside of the track? Because I know RC takes up so much of our time. Do you have a normal teenager life? Do you hang out with your friends, go, stuff like that? I know Europe's a lot different from America. So you're 18, you're more of a man when you're 18 over there and whatnot. You're legal.
Yeah. RC also takes a lot of time at home. Because, I wrench all things by myself and break in my engines by myself and glue my own tires. I do especially everything myself. So that takes a lot of time. But when I have time, I, go to some parties with my friends and just hang out with them. More or less, hear some music.
Do you have to sacrifice and not go to these parties to focus on RC?
Yeah.
Does it piss you?
I do sacrifice a lot of things.
Oh, yeah?
With my friends. Yeah.
Do you say sometimes oh man, I'm missing out on having fun? I'm sure you do. You have to say that.
Yeah. I do, for sure I do. But then again, RC is so important for me because I really love driving. So I will do RC instead of all the other things. That's
a good mentality to have, man. Stay focused. Stay focused on your goal.
When I have the feeling of I'm missing out of this and this and this, but then I go race instead and I forget all about it.
Yeah, man. That's a lot of people don't realize how much sacrifice goes into doing this. And
no.
I've always wondered about the younger kids that are coming up in this hobby who are racing so much. Some of their parents actually take them out of school and put them in homeschool. I feel like sometimes they're missing out on so much important things when they're growing up, you know?
Yeah.
But it seems like you still have somewhat of a normal life besides that you race RC cars.
Yeah, I really like to go to school because you see your friends and you have something, to wake up to. And then, I mean, I've always been told that if you're not good, if you're not do your school properly, you won't be racing RC cars. So
Yeah.
I mean, I have to.
You have to
I have more or less have to do my real school.
Yes. Keep your grades up, because that's important. That's important, Always have a backup plan, man, and education is a great backup plan. So,
Yes.
Besides Daniel, who's your biggest RC rival in Europe, I would say? Like going to the Euros and stuff like that.
I think there is not only one. I think all my generation, all the young, fast European guys who's non-pros, if you understand.
Yes.
So there is not only one person. There's
Yeah.
like a whole bunch of guys I want to beat at every race.
Yeah, because last year's Euros, man, the quarters and semis were full of you young guys, man.
Yeah,
That's when
it's crazy.
That's when I first recognized you. Like I was like, who's this kid Pelle? And that it's obviously I did some more research on you, talk to people about you, and I was very impressed with you. I was like, wow, I didn't even know who this kid is, and he's and I know I knew who the other kids were, like Murak and obviously Max and all these kids, Jessica and all that stuff. So I thought it was pretty impressive. So let's just talk about a little bit of things that you kind of expect in the future. You're still very young. What are some of your immediate goals in RC? Like, what would you like to accomplish this year?
This year, I will really like to be in the Euros main for sure, because I was so close last year. So I really try to, work hard to make the main this year, as I think it will be very, very hard for sure. But I also think it's possible to do it.
Yes.
So that's one of my goals this year. And for sure, also try to win the RC2 Euro Series.
Yes, because you the cool thing about you winning the Philippines races, you have a foot. You can race RCGP next year, I believe.
I have one wildcard year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's great as well. And the 2 rounds in Austria look really good as well. The round in Austria and then the round in Italy looks really good. So
yeah,
it should be great. But what else? Obviously, becoming Danish champ again. You would like to hold on to that.
For sure. And then try to make as many mains as possible out in the Europe. With the Buggy Land, the EP Euros. Just try to be just more or less try to beat my results from last year.
Yeah. So going into, what are you studying outside of RC? What is your goals in school? Like what is your plan to be outside of RC? Like your education, what are you striving to be?
Actually, I don't know what I want to do after the high school. Because there's many things around me now with RC, just school. So for now, I just want to, finish my high school with some good grades, and then I will take it from there.
Yeah, I think that's good. Like, kind of do what Max is kind of doing now, taking a year off to focus on RC and do that full time. I think that would be great for you. See where you go from there.
That's my plan, and then have a job beside that, so I can earn some money here in Denmark.
What type of job?
That will be my plan. Just focus when I'm finished. Focus on racing, do as many big races as possible, and see where it will take me. Yeah. And then
I agree with that. What type of job you gonna try and get? What Just curious. Like, when I was sick, well, in Bermuda, we finished school at 16 in high school, and then like I got a job at my local gas station pumping gas. But I did travel a lot, so I enjoyed that as well.
I have a work now actually.
Mm-hmm.
I work I would say the biggest local restaurant we have here.
Okay.
Where I'm in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Helping out with, making food.
That's good. Do you like cooking and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's nice. When you work there, because we get a lot of people from Europe to our town in the summer.
Yes.
So we're very busy in the summer.
Okay.
So it also helps me with, working under pressure.
Yeah, I would say so.
You have to do when you race at the biggest RC events.
And it's also good that you're working, so you get some real life non-RC experience.
For sure.
And then I think that actually helps you push you more to chase your goal, So I think that's great. That's good. I didn't know you worked. That's pretty awesome. I like that. And you actually sound like you enjoy it a bit, so that's good too. So just a few questions. Tell me, what is it that you really like about RC? What keeps you in this? What's making you stay? Like, what do you enjoy most about RC racing?
I think, just driving is really, really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Just, try to be, go faster every time you're out testing or racing to improve yourself. I really love to, wrench on the cars. And, I think it's more or less just all about the RC, getting out to races with people you like. It's something different from your normal life, I would say.
Yeah, most definitely. What do you tell people, like your friends? Do your friends know what you do? Have they ever come watch you race? Like outside of RC friends?
No, actually, no. They haven't. Only my girlfriend has come watch me sometimes.
Okay. What does she think about it?
I think she thinks it's nice, but she doesn't like I travel so much around.
Well, get used to it. Yeah. Get used to that. My wife doesn't like when I travel either, but, hey, it's part of it, It's better to see the world, man. Most definitely.
Yeah. I mean, she like what I have something, to do, and I'm, I'm doing more or less well. So that she thinks is very cool. But then also when I'm away from home, she, miss me. So that's why she doesn't like I go. But
that's life.
That's how it is.
Most definitely. Yeah. Definitely a sacrifice. Yeah.
And also she hates me when I have to go wrench.
No, dude, look, I think you're going through every problem that every man that races RC cars, whose wife isn't into it, like, or whatever.
But actually, sometimes she go with me in my wrenching place, and she helps me clean my car.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So that's nice.
Yes, she seems, you at least you have a girlfriend that follows what you're doing and whatnot like that. So.
Yeah, she's very supportive.
That's good.
That's good.
That's great. So tell me something that you don't like about RC at the moment.
At the moment, that we need more drivers. We need to have RC growing again.
Most definitely.
I don't like that we become less and less races.
Mm-hmm.
That's also why I like the RCGP concept.
Yes. Well, being as we're talking about that, we might as well, before we go any further, that's something that I like to talk about is change. And this will lead to my next question, and I guess you kind of answered it. How do you feel about RCGP? I mean, you partook in the first RC2 side of it. You done really well.
Yes.
Looks like you had fun. Did you bring that big trophy back home with you?
Yes, I did.
Oh yeah, did you carry it and they just let you carry it on the plane and all that stuff?
Yes, they did.
That's awesome. How did you?
And I had a lot of people asking me what did I win. And So that's nice.
You should have said, "Hey man, I'm a world champion, and you should let me sit up the front in first class." You got to play that stuff,
Yeah, next time.
Next time. So being
But
as
now it won't work because this will go viral. So now all the plane companies know
Yes.
what it is. So now it won't work.
hopefully, how did you feel going to Philippines, going to Manila, participating in what I would like to say is probably something that's never been seen in RC before? How did you enjoy it? How did you like it? Philippines, the race, all that type of stuff.
When I felt very confident going into the race, as I knew I had a good car. I had a good support from the team there with, Cole, David, and Adrian. So I knew I will, had a good race there. And then I just the Philippines was just awesome.
Yeah, you like the Philippines?
The weather was nice. Food is nice. People is so friendly there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so crazy how friendly they are.
Very nice
so
people.
Nice.
The first time ever going to a country like Philippines?
No, I have been on Bali, you know.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I know where Bali
with
is.
for some vacation. So it's my second time in Asia, yeah.
How did you
But it's really nice.
Yeah, I want to go there so bad. One day I'll get there. I have a few Filipino friends. They're really nice people. I worked with a lot of Filipinos in my time traveling and working. How did you like the track and whatnot there? That was for me, it looked very difficult.
Yeah. When we was there in 10 days, so we were actually on two tracks there.
Yes.
And the first track, the practice track at Ojo's place, it was...
Yes, that was nice too.
Yeah, that was, very big, open, high-speed track with big jumps and nice flow. So much different from what we have in Denmark.
Yeah.
We have small tracks and, good flow, but not with these high-speed tracks with big jumps and that amount of traction and everything. So that was very different from what we're used to in Denmark, but it was very nice. And then the racetrack was more for what I'm used to with the low traction. More it was very slidey there.
Yeah, it was at the RCGP track. Okay, it didn't look like it, but I guess it
was very, very slippery. Also, when we raced with the control tire, and it was the HB Gridlock white compound, which is the medium tire. So that was, very slippery, but I really like the big jumps, and the surface was just very smooth.
Yeah.
And I really liked it.
How did you like?
Did a very good job there. So
yeah, he did. The whole crew did a really good job.
Yeah, it was perfect race.
Yeah, and how did you feel being spec tire? Was a little bit different, I would say.
I think it's very nice that you don't have to bring so much tires to the race. That's really nice, and also, you're more equal.
Yes, I agree.
I would say.
And it cuts down cost, and it teaches you.
Yeah.
It makes then you don't have somebody who has an unlimited supply of tires and money to get the best tire. It really comes down to how you set up your car and who the best
and
driver
how you drive and.
Yeah, I think it's great. I've talked to Joseph. I know the whole hashtag RC2 Lives Matters started, and I agree with you guys. As we talked before we came on her, I hope to see more RC2 coverage in the production. But I'm super chuffed about you winning that, and I'm pretty, like we talked before, I'm pretty sure the RC world knows who Pelle Culmsee is now. Before he went into RCGP and now after. And I'm really excited, looking forward to you going into the next 2 rounds. And that's actually a series, so it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it will be very nice going into the series.
You're a young guy, and I'm fully like you guys are like what I think is what's going to change RC. We really need more of you young kids. What would you say to somebody, one of these older guys? What would you say to the older crowd of RC about RC and what you think has to happen? Like how you think? Well, you could use RCGP as an example, but what would you say to these older guys?
I think they, we're going into, a generation shift, if you can call it that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they need, to, more or less open their eyes to see that we do change now.
Mm-hmm.
We need to change now.
Yes.
We need to have, us young guys, also young kids.
Mm-hmm.
This is, us that will, take RC to the next step. So they need to, open their eyes and let us, come through, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think, I think everybody is important in RC. We need everybody. Yes. But we have these.
I don't say they need to, stop racing, but they need to let us young guys, come through and to see that we actually the change of this.
Yeah, I agree.
And we maybe have some new young guns out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, that would be my next question. What would you say to the young up and comers, like younger than you, that are coming through now? What would you say to them?
I would say that they just need to be focused, even though they will have a bad race, because there will always be up and downs in racing.
Mm-hmm.
So if they just keep focusing on what they're doing and try already when they're young to get an understanding of how the car works, and how to wrench the cars and build the cars, just go not just drive, but try to do everything, because then you will be very good in the end, I think.
Yeah, and learn to wrench, because it seems like you've learned to wrench from a young age, and
yes.
That's really good. I see a lot of kids that don't know how to wrench, and it's very important, man.
I think it's just as important as you have good driving skills. Because if you don't understand your car properly, you can go fast.
Yeah, I agree, man. Exactly, and like you're not always gonna have a mechanic or your dad there to do things, so.
No, you need to do the things by yourself sometimes.
Do you have any plans of probably going to America to race at all? Or have you raced in America before?
I have been there before, but on vacation, not racing. I would like to go to the RCGP race in the US.
Yeah.
This year.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any? Would you like to go to any of the other bigger races in America?
Yeah, of course. I would like next year to go to the DNC.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think everybody should go to one of those big races.
Yeah.
And see what it's all about. Have fun. Enjoy it. But how about in Europe? Any big races you want to go there? You've been to Biddy Design? That's a great race.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I could have sworn you've been to Biddy. Sorry.
Yes, the Nordic contest, but that was the Euros warm up in 2017.
Yeah, on that big track. Ooh, that track was gigantic.
Yes, very rough.
Yes, but that's good. I like that. So big. Wow. So big.
Yeah.
I forgot they had a Biddy Design race, a Nordic Biddy Design race as well.
Yeah, that's the only race I did there. Okay. The Biddy Design race. So, otherwise. I think I would like to go to one of the Biddy contests sometime.
Yeah, they look like a lot of fun.
Yeah. But then I have been more or less to all of them.
Yeah. Cool. So you have Euros coming up in Italy this year. You're going to the Euros warm up here this weekend, right?
Yes.
Will you drive or fly down there?
we will fly.
Okay. Yeah. That's going to be interesting. Too bad. I know RC Racing TV isn't going to cover it, but it'd be a great way. I'm sure some video will come out. It's
Hopefully, yeah.
Ungaro's backyard.
Yes.
You know, Boots' first ever Euro Championship came there. It was an exciting race. It's going to be some really good racing. I can't wait for the Euro. The Euros, the Nationals, and the Worlds are three of my favorite races to watch.
Yes.
So I can't wait to for the Euros, the Nationals. So what's your goals for this upcoming Euro warm-up? Make the finals, do as good as you can, I would say, right?
Just, to do as good as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Try to make the main. But it will be hard.
Yeah, it's some fast dudes. Dudes.
And the Italian guys in Italy, it will be very, very hard. But we will try.
Yeah, that's all you can do, dude. I mean, you're definitely on the right path. Never give up. Against the odds. I know that's a cliche saying for us, but it's all good, man. Yeah. You definitely going in on a high. You was fast in Manila. The warm-ups is a great gauge. And then you have in about 2 weeks after that, you have not even 2 weeks. Yeah, about less than 2 weeks, you go to Austria. So
yes.
So that should be good. So in ending here, what is your dream, dude? What is your dream? Tell me right now, you're 18 years old. Where do you see yourself and what do you want to be? What is your dream?
I think my dream is, to try to become a pro racer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really like this. I put all my time and efforts in this, and I can imagine right now not having to do anything else but just drive. So that's one of my biggest dreams.
I think you're definitely on the right path, dude. You just gotta stay focused and do what you gotta do, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't.
No.
And
just need to drive, as Adrian always telling me.
Yeah. You have some great mentors. You got Ronafalk, Adrian. I know your uncle's very influential as well.
Yeah, I have also my second mechanic in Denmark, Michael.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Mike.
No, okay. No. That's just a friend.
Okay.
I have another mechanic called. His name is Michael. He's also helping me a lot of the way. And then I have a younger friend, Patrick Foreman.
Mm-hmm.
He's racing large-scale touring cars. He's also
helping
me a lot of the way. So I have a lot of, supporters. And my family is supporting me, so yeah.
That's good, man. It sounds like you have a lot of support. You have, You have, and I don't think it's like people would say financial. I don't think it's all about financial. It's about having there's lots of people out there with lots of money that don't accomplish anything. I was just thinking about something that somebody said today. If you have the will to do something, it will be done. And I think you definitely seem very mature, very professional about your outlook on RC. And I probably expect good things to happen to you and good things to come your way.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Hopefully.
Do you want to say anything before we sign off? We actually have to do the fastraceshop.com 10 question, 10 second segment. But before we do that, do you have anything you would like to say or say thank you to anybody?
I just think I want to say, thanks to the HB team because, for believing in me the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then, thanks to my uncle and Michael, Patrick for helping me a lot of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then for my grandparents for, financial support.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom, sister, and girlfriend for the rest of the support, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Now we go into the Fast Trace 10 questions in 10 seconds segment. Fast Trace is a world champion option parts brand made in Italy. Fast Trace drivers include Davide Ongaro and Riccardo Berton, and they run the innovative performance-enhancing parts that Fast Trace makes for most 1/8 buggies, including the world-famous honeycomb shock bladders and caps. Go to fasttraceshop.com and type in Lefty 2019 to get 10% off your purchase now.
All right, man. Well, we're going to do the fastraceshop.com 10 questions, 10 seconds segment. Are you ready for that?
Yes, I think so.
All right. So you got to answer these questions as fast as you can and as honest as you can. And they're pretty easy. They're not all RC questions. So you ready?
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
I'm
good to go.
Number one, best track you've ever been to so far.
That will be the Euro. No, that will be the Manila track. Yeah.
Okay. Number two, best Viking ever.
David Ronnefalk.
Okay. Who's your favorite? Number three, who's your favorite football team?
FC Barcelona.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Number four, name a Danish delicacy that you think is disgusting.
Ooh, I don't know, actually.
Okay, you guys don't have no crazy like whale blubber or reindeer balls or something like that you eat? I know.
No, actually, no.
Okay. I thought so because I know like in Finland and Sweden they have some crazy stuff.
Yeah, but they're crazy there.
Yeah, they say that about each country. That's so funny.
Yes.
What's your who's your number five? Who's your favorite RC driver? Ever.
I actually. I think I will say David Ronnefalk again.
Okay, no worry. I can understand why. All right,
not just because of the HB racing, but
he's a good person to have as a mentor.
Yeah.
As a, I agree with you there. All right, number six, if you wasn't racing RC cars, what would you be racing?
Oh, I don't know, maybe go-kart or something like that.
Okay, number seven. Besides Denmark, what's your favorite European country?
I really like Spain, but I actually also like Sweden a lot.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I like Sweden a lot. So Spain or Sweden, I would say.
Okay, good stuff. Number 8, what is your bucket list race? Like one race that you want to do before you die. There's a good.
For now, it will be the Dirt Nitro Challenge.
Okay. Number 9. I don't know if you follow any of these, but most Europeans that I meet do. F1, MotoGP, or motocross. Which one has to? One of them. Which one is your favorite? Sorry.
I only follow Formula 1.
Okay. Well, who's your favorite driver?
I will say... I have to say Kevin Magnussen as he's Danish.
Yeah. Okay.
I like him, and I like the Ferrari guys.
All right. So you're 18. That's legal drinking age in Europe, correct?
Yes.
Do you drink beer?
No.
No?
I don't like it, actually.
What? Man, you guys have one of the best beers. My question was going to be Carlsberg regular or Carlsberg elephants?
Okay, then it will be the regular one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know that we have the elephants in back home in Bermuda. Oh, so strong.
Yeah.
So strong. Like Red Horse is in Philippines. Oh. So
actually, I don't drink a lot of alcohol. I don't really like the taste of it.
That's good. I can't say the same thing for myself, but that's cool. I just
Yes.
All right, man.
I think it's because I'm just so focused on racing, so I don't want to get drunk.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but you got to enjoy life sometimes.
Yeah, I actually drank one beer with Cole and the team at the dinner banquet in Manila.
Was it a red horse?
No.
Okay, because those things are strong.
But I heard it was really good.
Yeah, the red horse is really strong too. So
Yeah.
and I'm not surprised you had one with Cole, because Cole likes a beer now and then. So yeah, good stuff.
Yes, he does.
Good stuff, man. Well, Pelle, I know more about you now. I thank you for coming on. I really like your attitude. It's very professional. It gives me really a lot of hope as the future of RC going in. Thank you for your time, dude. Good luck this weekend at the Euro warm-ups. Good luck in Austria in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
And thank you, man, for coming on the podcast. And I'm pretty sure the world knows a lot more about Pelle Culmsee. The RC world knows a lot more about you now.
Yes, hopefully. And thank you for having me on.
No problem, dude. You have a good evening, and talk to you later.
You too.
You are entering the Techno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight. The part of the podcast that gives the listeners a platform to talk about RC. Brought to you by Techno RC. Techno RC. Techno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.technorc.com for a complete catalog of their products.
Welcome to the Techno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight segment. This week, I have a guest, a guy I've known for a couple of years now. He was very influential in getting me into the podcast scene because I knew he was deep into podcasting, and I hit him up. And it probably bothered his life for a little while, asking him different questions, and he was very patient, and he's helped me answer all my questions. He's also given me tips as I've gone on with the podcasting life, as I like to say it. He also has a very good RC podcast called Ran Out of Talent. I'd like to welcome Mr. Joe Zaire Jr. I know I said your name wrong. I know I said it wrong. All right. What's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good. How's it going with you?
Well, it's all right, man. Just chilling, recording this podcast with you. I'm actually kind of honored to have you on here because, you know, I'm not lying. I came to you to ask questions about doing a podcast, and you've helped me quite a lot. So, you know, it's good to have you on here.
I really enjoy helping podcasters because it was so hard for me to start. Like, you should hear some of our original ones that are up on YouTube. They are horrific. It took us a while to figure it out, and I'm of the same mindset of you. The more podcasts, the better.
Oh yeah.
And you took it and you ran with it. I am so impressed. Like, you're crushing me in both numbers, productions, guests, whatever, which is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, but I still enjoy your podcasts. You do it, but let's tell everybody. I'm sorry. Thank you for the compliments, but you know I couldn't have done it without your help from the get-go, man. You and a few other guys, so I appreciate that. And I do encourage everybody and anybody who's looking to do podcasts, do it.
Yes.
You know,
but really have something to say. That's why I stopped doing it for about a year.
Okay.
I kind of ran out of stuff to say for a bit, and then I've been going pretty strong lately.
Yes. So if you guys don't know Joe, he's pretty popular on Facebook. He's from Minnesota. He's into RC. He races. What do you race, dude?
Everything.
Yes.
Let's see. I've raced stock 112 scale and 13.512 scale. I also race 10 scale electric buggy. I got a 10 scale baby truggy, which has been my latest obsession. And I also race a scale nitro buggy.
Mm-hmm. And you also are an avid jiu-jitsu fanatic.
I love it so much. I suck so bad at it, but it's one of those things to where you can see yourself getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my very first tournament was a year ago. I got smoked in every match. And then I just did another one last weekend. I got a gold medal and 2 silvers. so I can see myself improving as I go along, and the learning curve is awesome.
Yes, that's really good, man. I've kind of watched your progress on Facebook, looking at your posts and watch you cutting weight to do.
That sucks.
Oh, I could imagine. I mean, look, do I look like I'm worried about cutting weight? But I think you installed a steam room so you can help cut weight, and yeah, that's
An
good,
infrared
man.
sauna.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I didn't have to modify my house.
Okay, that's awesome. But you are also abnormal in the RC world. You are one of the few people that I know that has no sponsors whatsoever.
Correct. Well, I had some here and there. I have none right now.
What? Go ahead. Sorry.
What it did for me is the sponsors did do good things for me as discounts, and I would shout them out on social media like you're supposed to. But I personally put unnecessary pressure on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't healthy for my racing.
Okay.
I was getting angry. I wasn't having fun. None of that. And it's like I had to look at root problems, and sponsorship. I had a few. Sponsorship was one of them, and I was always trying to get the next guy and this and that, and it was not worth it to me. I would rather pay cash and just go out and have a great time.
Yes, that's it is abnormal now to meet somebody that doesn't have a sponsor. I know it's the way of our industry, but you definitely seem to be enjoying RC more. You're racing a lot more.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. So, and you started your podcast again, so that's great as well. It's all good.
Oh, I've been enjoying that a lot. One thing though I want to say is you started racing. You've been racing in probably almost as long as I have.
Mm-hmm.
And back when we had 2 or 3 legitimately sponsored guys, and I watched the races where they earned it, to where Gil Losey walked up to Chad Lindahl and offered him a sponsorship, or this guy from Associated walked up to a guy named Paul Goulet and offered him a sponsorship.
Really?
That was definitely a different time.
Oh yeah, you didn't send in applications to get a sponsorship back then. You had to race and earn it.
Yeah, for sure. People tried that back in the day, believe it or not.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It did not work.
I could imagine so. I could imagine. But tell us, so you're based in Minnesota. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in RC, how the RC scene is there in Minnesota.
Well, my dad, we all get started, well, a lot of us get started because of our dads.
Mm-hmm.
He bought a 1/12 scale Nitro Kyosho Datsun truck. And it was just a little piece of junk, is one of those ones, it had like a saw looking thing to start it. And he got bored with that quick, but he found a track locally. He bought a Kyosho Double Dare monster truck, and he tried racing it. And he realized quickly that this would not do. Within 2 weeks, he bought an RC10, and then I just kept bugging him and bugging him and bugging him. And we were not, and still are not, a wealthy family. So my dad built me a car out of spare parts and scrimped and saved everything he could to get me on the track. It was a clapped out mishmash car, but it got me going. And that's where it all started, back when I was 6 years old, racing at a place called North Star Hobbies.
Oh yeah, North Star. That rings a bell.
Yeah.
Rings a bell. Did they have a hobby shop?
Yep.
And did they ever have an ad in the magazines?
I'm sure they did back. If it was, I bet you 89 through not 90.
Okay.
They closed in 90.
Okay, well that was before my time. There was another hobby shop out of Minnesota back in the day that had
I know exactly what you're talking about. Are you talking about the Batmobile?
Yes, and I actually bought a few things from them way back in the day. When you
They're still open.
When you still had to order through the magazines and call them or something like that. So,
yep.
Good stuff. So, my question is, since you've been 6 years old, have you kind of stuck with RC? Have you gone away? You come back? How has it been?
I took a 1 year break when I thought I was going to become a pro BMX racer.
Oh, really?
So when you race BMX, what you do is you race locally and you go through the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
So you get 6 wins to intermediate, and then it's 20 wins to expert. And then when you turn expert, the two organizations have combined, but it used to be ABA and NBL. When you become an expert, you would send your resume in and be like, hey, this is what I've done. I'd like to become pro. I was okay back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So you start out in a class called A Pro, which locally it was nothing, but I was doing well. And then my dad and I went to a race in Atlanta called the Dixieland Nationals. And I got smoked so bad every race, I go, yep, I'm going back to RC.
You know, it's funny. I actually know 2 guys. One, he's named Bogey Givens. He's out in California. He used to be a pro BMXer, like racing. And
Sounds familiar.
And then he's racing RC cars. He actually did really well at Silver State this year. And I know Josh Hino. He actually races JQ. And he is like on the cover of magazines for he was doing that big air, hucking it off like these big gaps. And, you know,
that's awesome.
He you know, talking to him, I actually want to get him on the podcast because he's so passionate about it and he loves RC. And he tells me stories about when he used to travel around the world doing these BMX demos and stuff like that. So, and he says he gets the same adrenaline that he got from doing that just from racing RC cars. So that's pretty cool.
For sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
I'll tell you what,
what's up?
The adrenaline from a jiu-jitsu match in a tournament is so much higher than racing that when you go on the driver's stand to race, your heartbeat stays the same. It's still a lot of fun and it's still a little bit of a rush, but you don't get that nervousness. You stay calm.
That's I could imagine that because I mean, shit, in jiu-jitsu you can get your arm broken, you get choked out, you know.
Oh
yeah.
I've been put unconscious a couple times.
Oh yeah, it's always fun. It's always fun to go unconscious. I don't know, I've never done that, but you know, it's all good.
You don't feel it.
So tell us a little bit about RC there in Minnesota. I know you go to Omaha to Hobbyplex a lot. I know that little area is quite a little hotbed of racing. You got some fast young guys there. I know the Fullers, the Van Dalens. We got that young fast kid that drives JQ, Ashton. He's good. Jalen, all these guys. So you got a good bit of talent there. My buddy Wayne, he's up there. Wayne Westbrook, what's up, Wayne? Tell us about racing in that area.
So we went from almost nothing to oversaturation. So right now we have a bunch of indoor carpet off-road. We have a bunch of indoor clay. We have a series of A-scale tracks, and it's so hard because I want to support everybody, but you can't. But it's not a bad thing. So, we have a world. Are you familiar with Dollar Hobbies online?
Yes.
So they're a Minnesota company. They had to move their warehouse. They moved it to a town called Woodbury, and they built in. So they were just a warehouse before, because I'm like, hey, can I just come pick up my stuff? And they're like, no, we have to ship it to you.
Okay.
But now they expanded, and now they have a on-road track, and they're also doing a carpet off-road gig. Most beautiful facility. I mean, the pits are awesome. They have a pool table, a big screen TV for the kids. That just opened up this winter.
Oh, really?
And then you have MMR that's been a staple in Minnesota. He started the whole turf off-road thing, and he's been heavy into the on-road. Then you have Thunder Road, that they've world-class facility. I don't know. Besides that, I don't have too many positive things to say. And then you have 510 Raceway, which is clay off-road. You have the Toy Box, which is clay off-road. You have a place called Shamrock, which is outdoor AstroTurf, which is a ton of fun. You have oval tracks. You have all this stuff within a 2-hour radius of each other.
Oh, really?
Yes. This is all right on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So what we've come to do, with off-road, what we've been doing in the wintertime is once a month, one track will have a trophy race. And they'll get all the entries for that week. And then the next week, the next track will have a trophy race. And they'll get all the entries for that week.
Awesome.
It's kind of been working. Eventually, something has to give for some of these tracks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so cool. I mean, you hear people say RC is dying so much.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota's population of maybe 7 million total, and we have all of this RC. We have the Duluth guys, awesome club, just so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's RC is not dying. RC is alive and well.
Yes, I think you guys have enough tracks. If you have the races to support it, that's awesome.
Yes,
but we always need
yes.
more. We always need more. We need to grow this extremely. I know certain pockets, like you seem to be in a healthy part of America where it's growing. It's good
Yes.
to support all these tracks. I think the Pacific Northwest is like that.
Yes.
But then I see like the Southeast, I think it's oversaturation. They do race a lot. They race a lot. But I think it's an oversaturation of tracks and series going on there, and not everybody can support it. And what a big problem that's been hitting the Southeast and East Coast over the last year and this year is rain. So, they don't have a lot of indoor tracks. That's why the indoor races that Race Time puts on and Southern Nats, and they actually have another race coming up called the Blue Ridge Nationals. It's a new race that's going to be held in Virginia in November. So that's why the indoor races are popular there. So, but it seems like in Minnesota, man, things are going good. You're racing again. You're almost racing. If you ain't doing jiu-jitsu, you're racing every weekend, and you club race throughout the week. So
yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying promoting the mini truggy class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I'll hand my radio to anyone who'll take it. There's this woman I used to go to high school with. She started racing with her husband and her family and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a light day at the track. And I was literally racing against her husband in the main.
Mm-hmm.
I got a bit of a lead, handed her the radio. She broke it, but I don't care. I can fix my stuff. The next 2 weeks after that, she had a truggy showing up at the track.
That's awesome.
It is. I just like promoting it. It's like, I'll give my radio to whoever. Except with the exception of the Nitro buggy.
Okay. No.
That one's a little tough to. I mean, I'll hand it over to people if they have a minimum amount of experience.
Mm-hmm.
But a guy just off the street, whatever, yeah, it's a little more difficult.
That brings me to my next question. What is your favorite class of racing?
Oh. There's a few schools of thought in that. I'm most talented in 12 scale.
Okay.
But right now, my favorite two classes I'd have to say are Nitro buggy and mini truggy. I ran my mini truggy on a big A scale off-road track today.
Mm-hmm.
And it handled everything beautifully.
Yeah.
All the truggies did.
Yeah. I haven't driven one yet. I've seen one go. I haven't driven one myself. It looks like fun. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. If it's fun, do it. That's what I say.
Exactly. And, there's already the hillbilly stigma behind it. I'm like, how did that happen already?
I don't know. I thought the hillbilly stigma was Munt's truck back in the day. But I guess,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy truggy. I mean, my dream class is actually to race 5th scale off-road. It's just so expensive. I think it's just so cool. I'd like to do that one day.
So speaking of, so I was telling you about the track MMR.
Mm-hmm.
They started out doing 5th scale racing at a go-kart track called The Shoe.
Okay.
And Andrew Mowry, one of the owners of MMR, let me run a 5th scale here or there. On-road car.
Okay.
Dude, it's so realistic.
Isn't it? It's awesome.
It's frustrating realistic because you can jam a couple laps really hard, and then your tires will get greasy, and your brakes will get hot, and everything will fade on you.
Yep.
You have to be a really consistent and calm driver, and that it brings it a whole nother element that it's really cool.
Yes.
This scale is fun.
I enjoy the RC Racing TV because it's really big in Europe and they cover the Euros, and I thoroughly enjoy. I'm not. I don't like the. I'm not too big on the off-road one that they do, but I definitely follow the on-road because I think it's so great. But I do like the off-road section in America with the trucks, the buggies. They go up to that big track up in Canada. And it's so big. It's like a real motocross track, and I love it. Hopefully one day I'll get to run 5th scale, and I'll be happy. And then I could race again. So that'd be great too.
Yeah.
So that'd be great too.
Those 5th scale, I haven't driven a 5th scale off-road vehicle, but the Lowe's line of vehicles do look like they are very strong.
And they're just as fast as 8. I watched them at DNC last year, and I'm like, these things are just as fast as these 8 scales. They could do every jump that an 8 scale can do. So,
for sure. What screws with you is the low revving sound of the motor. It's like, you're going so fast, but it doesn't sound like it because it's just...
Oh, no, they got
it's
them
not
things
screaming like a nitro motor.
Oh, they get them, though. They get up, and I like the trucks. They look so real. Like the suspension's moving, and the body's just there. I'm like, it looks... I'm in love with them. I am in love with them. I like to get Matt Olson from Mod on the podcast one day just to talk about that because he's actually carved out a niche for himself within a niche, and I think it's awesome.
I think for your next signing bonus with JQ, you should have him get you a Lowe's 5T.
Oh yeah, he would probably say, "Here you go. That's your pay for a year or something like that."
Yeah.
You know? Jesus, that guy. He's something else. All right, so you're into jiu-jitsu. You're into BMX. Well, you was into BMX. What is it that that really draws you back to RC? What is your primal? What do you love about it?
Well, I love racing itself. It's the only type of racing I can afford.
Okay.
I love hanging out with my dad and my friends. That's the biggest part of it. And I'm starting to get my son into it. It's just the whole thing combined. I'm starting to love wrenching. I used to hate wrenching. I used to hate it. I put a setup in my car, and if it didn't work, I'd try to work around it. I'm starting to love wrenching. It's just fun again. It wasn't fun for a long time for me personally, and now it's like kind of rejuvenated.
Okay, I can understand that.
Yeah,
I'm desperately. We was talking earlier, and I need to discover my passion because I've put my racing on hold, and I'll get back on racing one day. I miss it, so I'll do it.
I'm telling you, jiu-jitsu. I told you before we started recording, when somebody's it puts things in perspective. When somebody's choking you, trying to put you out, it puts things in your life in line of what's really important and what you need to focus on. It makes you think differently.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's one of those weird things.
I can imagine. You're close to death, so you definitely, a lot of things go through your mind. I know you're very outspoken. I love it. I love that about you. I listened to one of your recent podcasts. I thought it was awesome. What would you like to see change in RC?
I would like to see less big races and more club races.
Okay. I can agree with that.
Do you remember back in the day there were like 4 or 5 big races you'd look forward to a year to like read in the magazines or maybe go to one yourself or whatever? Mm-hmm. Now there's one every single weekend.
Oh yeah, there is.
Several a weekend, like RCGP and Silver State were on the same weekend.
Unfortunately, but yeah.
RCGP was the A side. And speaking of that top 25 list, don't even get me started on that load of crap.
Oh, see, we're not. Hey, this is your time to talk, so I'm letting you let loose.
Well, no, it's just they had the amount of drivers. It was a legit race. I really think, I don't know. It was a big snub. That's what that top 25 list was. David Ungaro won, but yet he drops on the top 25 list because he wasn't in that crater of a track suffocating to death. No, that's ridiculous. Manila was the A side.
Yeah, actually, if you guys haven't heard it, you should go check out his latest episode on Ran Out of Talent, and you'll really know how Joe felt about that, because I thought it was pretty awesome, pretty savage, but pretty awesome.
I let a couple of curse words fly. I normally don't like to, because I know kids do listen to it. Mm-hmm. I went a little hard in the paint last week, let's say.
Yeah, you did. You most definitely did. But
it's things that need to be said.
I agree. I agree with you.
You can't keep getting away with this crap. Well, they can't keep getting away with this crap.
I think on the whole, we used to on 8 scale racing. It was DNC, Silver State, Nationals. You had a race called the U.S. Gas Champs back in the day, and then maybe you had a big East Coast race. That was your 4 races. Yeah. Now there is a bunch of races, and okay, we can say that RCGP is another big race. Yes, it is. It is definitely a big race, but RCGP's point is to get more people involved, and they're trying to do like a track registry so people can register their tracks, because where do you learn about RC? At the track with people that are racing, or at your local hobby shop that has a track. So,
well, there's a purpose for RCGP. It's putting a professionalism to RC that needed to happen. Mm-hmm. And it's not just, all right, this big race happened this weekend, now let's trudge on to the next middle of nowhere and do another one, and then trudge on the next week to the next track. It's not special anymore.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, I enjoy the races that I've been to, but then I've had some great fun just going to a club race at S&B with my buddy Mike, and just, even though I got kind of screwed on my lap counting, but I had fun, I had fun, and I think we need to get back to that. And I think you guys are kind of doing it right up there in Minnesota, and it seems to be RC is very healthy up there now that I've talked to you, and I'm learning a little bit more about it. But I'm in agreement with you on what things need to change. I definitely think I think our professionals need to be more professional, and we need to treat that side of RC in a more professional way. And then when people see that, who aren't into it, they'll say, okay, well, these guys aren't just a bunch of weirdos in black hoodies racing toy cars around, like nerds, Right. Because I think RC is cool. So.
Oh, it is. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's one of the reasons not one of the wife, before we had kids, she was at the track with me weekly and learning about things, and she thought I could never get her to race, so. Mm-hmm. But, she thought it was neat and all that stuff, but it's such a weird market. The 80s, the mid to late 80s was really the heyday for RC in the public eye.
Okay. I could see that.
Well, did you ever see the Punky Brewster episode with
Yes. I remember that. I remember
the Deadpool.
Do you remember it was a short-lived series. It had the guy from Willow, the small person from Willow. I don't know if you remember Willow, the movie.
I don't.
Well, it was like the series was called The Wizard, and he was like this guy who made all these different toys. And I will never forget, it was like Deadpool. He made a car, and he was RC car, and he was following around another car, and I thought that was so cool, and that just just made me love. I wasn't into RC that time, but just made me want a car even more. So I think we need to get back to that.
What I thought was cool about the Deadpool though was they actually had a malfunction happen. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
There is a Jay Halsey. Some kid was driving Jay Halsey's RC10. It was the Jay Halsey RC10 that he won the Worlds with.
Really?
Yes. The kid was driving it, and he was getting frustrated, and he goes, somebody's on my channel. He shuts off his radio, and then here comes that black Corvette. That black Corvette was on the same channel and glitching out the Jay Halsey RC10.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. It's funny you mentioned his name. I actually talked to Jay yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, he's going to come on the podcast. So that's cool. I actually met him a few years ago in the jamming days. And, he's like, yeah, Keenan, what's up? And it's like, man, I'm doing this podcast, and I really like you to come on and talk. You have a good story to talk about,
Yeah. The work he does in Hollywood that most people have no idea.
I could imagine.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, he's like all those low shots you see in car commercials. That's Jay.
Really? That's cool. That's cool. And fuck, I'm sorry, I swear, but he started his own. I think the whole jamming days and 8-scale started this. I mean, he was like the first team that I saw that had like the nice tents and flags and banners, and then they had a wrapped trailer and like guys with matching shirts, and I thought he took it. He was the first company to have that vision to do that back in the the heyday of 8-scale back in 2004, 2005, 6, 7.
For sure.
And he made the first truggy, like the first actual manufactured truggy, which I had one of them, and I was great. So it's good. I think he'll be a great podcast. So go ahead.
Sorry, that was the first manufactured truggy, huh?
I believe so, because I was converting my Mugans into truggies.
That's right. Mugen had the conversion jam and had the first truggy.
Actual production truggy with real like length, like a chassis, and arms designed for a truggy.
Yep. That's cool.
With that little small stupid wing he had on there. I don't know what that was for. Yeah. But I actually raced that at the Offner race when I really met him back in 2005, and then about 3 weeks later, I stayed in America and I went out to RC Pro Finals at Sun Valley, and I went up to say, he's like, Keenan, what's this I hear? You've been in America for like 3 weeks and you met some girls and you ended up staying with them, and I was like, well, that's kind of what happened, he gave me some parts. Great guy, man. Always a nice guy. It was so cool when I text him. I haven't talked to him in years. He's like, yeah, I remember you, man. What's up? And, we got to talking, and it'd be a great guest for the podcast. Now, I know we've kind of gone over our time limit here, but I know you and I, we have a lot to say, but this is the grassroots segment, so I have to keep it short. We're at 32 minutes now. But,
wow.
Yeah, that's all right. See, we get talking and we get carried away. I do have one. I know you want to say something, but I have one more questions before we do that. Do you actually have a favorite racer that you kind of like and you admire, or a race that you, or as well as a race that you would always wanted to go to but haven't been to yet?
Okay. I don't admire any adult men, but I do have racers I do like.
Okay.
I mean,
I get that.
It's one of those weird things. It's like, I mean, you take away. I mean, I like Tebow because he's a family man and he can still pull one out for the old guys. I like JQ because he's JQ. Yeah. I mean, he's sometimes my entertainment during a slow work day. He'll post something and I'll just click and read the comments because it's fun.
Oh yeah, he's definitely good at that. Don't encourage him though.
And he's a knowledgeable guy.
Yeah.
You have a question for him, he's bam right there. But yeah, there's nobody I really dislike for drivers. Let's see. I don't know if the track's still there. Do you remember when Neo was at that track in Valencia?
Rendovan, and the last year.
Yes.
Rendovan, I think it's called. Yeah, it's still there. It belongs to the Baldo brothers.
Okay. Look at that backdrop.
Awesome.
Think about taking a couple-week vacation and racing in Valencia. That is a dream place for me to go.
And the track is badass. It's big,
It
multi-surface. It's gigantic, and why wouldn't anybody want to race on it?
Right. It just looks fantastic. And there's a branch of my gym about 5 hours away in Barcelona. So go do some jiu-jitsu while I'm there. But yeah, no, that really, I want to go to Valencia and race at that track.
Oh yeah, and not only that, I mean, Spain has some really great tracks besides that. You know?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you know, they have definitely stepped up their game there. They have lots of great tracks. I mean, Cole Ogden's been over there for a whole month. Well, was over there for a whole month, practicing and training with Runafolk, and they went to various different tracks. So I could actually agree with you there, and that's something I'd like to do myself. So
yeah, awesome.
So I know you wanted to do something on the podcast before we closed out, so I'll let you go ahead and do that.
Oh yeah, so I was throwing an idea out there. I mean I'm not doing like a for sale pitch here, but I have a Mugen MBX8 that I am selling. And now I've been thinking about having a sliding price range on it. For a kid under 13, I'll sell a car for $100.
Okay.
13 to 16, 150. Over 16, $200.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just something I've been kicking around. I mean, because like I said, when I started racing, we didn't. I mean, my dad made it work, and he made it work well, but we didn't have a ton of money. You don't realize those things when you're a kid, but I'm trying to get my kid into racing and scrimping and saving. Like, our trip to Omaha cost $1,000.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and that well worth the money. It was awesome. But, I had to save for a little bit to go. But, yeah, if I could help a starting racer out, I'd love to do that.
Okay. And how can people get in contact with you if they want to buy it?
Just on Facebook. Okay. Search me for Joe Zer Jr.
Okay.
I'm on there too often.
Great stuff. And also, don't forget to check out you're doing weekly podcasts, you and
weekly or bi-weekly.
What's the
I might give it a rest this week. So I do it often with a guy named Ryan Greening.
Right, that's his name.
Yes, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, he's good.
But I've also done it with he used to work for Live RC quite a bit. Now he's doing things with Scotty Ernst with Eric Swanson.
Okay.
I've done a few with him. I'm doing a RC history podcast next week. Another one.
Awesome.
With Corey Hins. Corey Hins was a huge A-scale driver back in the day.
Okay. I'll be looking forward to that.
Yep. So I'm just trying to find ideas. I do have a few people I want on. Like, I think it'd be really fun to do a history podcast with Bob Stormer.
From Stormer
Hobbies.
Oh, yes.
He's such an interesting guy. I mean, he has made enough money to make his crappy little Honda Civic drag racing cars and all this other stuff. He's just living his best life. It's awesome.
That's great. That's great. Well, for those that don't know, Joe's podcast is called Ran Out of Talent. It's available on iTunes, Podbean. What?
Yep.
Okay. You do have a Facebook page for it, I believe, or no?
Yep.
Okay. So you can check that out. I really enjoy his podcast. Check out his recent one. It's pretty good. And you know what, Joe? We're gonna have to get you back on her, and we're gonna have to do a good hour and a half podcast with you because you and I have a lot in common and a lot to say.
Anytime, Keenan.
And I appreciate you coming on the Techno RC Grassroots Racer Spotlight. We went over time, but when you got things to say, that's what we got to do. That's why some of my podcasts are almost 4 hours because we got a lot to say.
Right. I look forward to all of them.
I appreciate it, dude, and I couldn't do it without you. And would you like to shout out to anybody before we end this?
I just like to give a shout out to all my family, my dad for getting me into racing, and my wife for letting me keep racing.
Yep. Yes, definitely have to thank the wife. Definitely have to thank
And a
her.
shout out to you for taking this podcast and running with it.
Oh man, I'm enjoying it, and I couldn't have done it without your encouragement and your guidance in the beginning, as well as a few other people. So I'm just trying to I think RC's cool, and I want people to know more about it.
Right.
But thank you for your time. Thank you for being on the Techno RC Grassroots segment, and everybody go check out Joe. Ran Out of Talent, and listen to his podcast, man. Give him some love. Lots of guys out there doing podcasts, and that's all great for RC, man. Thank you, Joe. You have a good evening, and I'll talk to you later, bud.
All right, talk to you later.
Cool.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on.
Whoa. Things are about to get serious.
It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
So hey, Joseph, I've been thinking about a rant all this week, and I kind of came up. I kind of made a post on Facebook this week, and it started a small discussion about 40 plus and kids, right? And this podcast, where actually I call it the future of RC. We had two young. We had Camden Lawnmower, who's very young and up and coming in the RC scene, and we have the mini Viking Pelle Culmsee on, who's a little older, but he's the next generation of people, and we have So my thing is, yes. 40 plus is probably especially the races that I've been to recently, probably the biggest class because, I'm 40 and I want to race 40 plus. But I think it's the class because obviously these are the people that have disposable income and time to do it, and these guys were once young RC racers too. A lot of people are just getting into RC maybe at a later age, but yes, 40 plus definitely matters, and we need to have it. I'm all for I remember it came up about nationals for them, and I said, yeah, that's cool. That can happen as well. I know there's a 40 plus Euros in Europe, but at the same time, yes, we need to give 40 plus their due, just like we need to give everybody their due. But I feel we're not doing as much as we should for the younger kids, like the younger generation coming up. These kids that are coming up that are fast. Maybe they're not pros at times, or they're going to be pros, but they're still fast and they're coming up. What do you think about this?
I mean, yeah, RC needs both. People like to say that the 40 plus class is the fastest growing class in RC and it's the most popular. And yeah, that's fine. That's great. But I don't think that's something to celebrate because that looks like a problem to me. Because if the biggest and most interesting and fastest growing class in RC is 40 plus, then where's the future in that?
Yeah, I agree.
Because, yeah, right now it might seem good.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, yeah, current racers will move into the 40 plus class as they get older. But who's going to be the future, current young racers? Where are they coming from?
Yeah.
Everyone's going to start RC at 25 years old, 30 years old. I mean, what we actually would need is for the junior class to be the biggest class. That should be the biggest class. and then you have the regular class and then the 40 plus class. So
Yeah,
if it was the other way around, where the junior races were the biggest and most hotly contested races, then I think that would be a great situation to be in.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I enjoy the 40 plus class. You know, it's fun, it's exciting, but man, as we get older, people, life happens, and people, we all die at some point, like, and my worry is, and it's probably not a worry, not a concern, who's gonna replace us as we get out of RC? Like, obviously, I'm getting older. I guess I'm moving towards the old guard of RC now, I would say. You're getting older. You'll be 40 soon. Well, not soon, but, in a few years. Yes, definitely we need the 40 plus. I'm all for that. I enjoy it. It's great. It's all good. Yes, we have really, well, not me, but the older guys have the disposable income. I also understand the argument over the young kids with not having anybody to guide them. Like, they have to be with their parents, and the parents don't really get into it. But I think this comes, and then they say once they hit a certain age, it's just they get out of it, and it's too much. It's gaming and this and everything else. Well, that's because we have to make RC cool. You know what I mean? My hope lies in this next generation of kids coming up. After talking to Camden, after talking to Pelle, and talking to other young kids that are in the industry that are racing, even some of the young guys that we have on our team, I agree. We're kind of doing it in reverse. Like, we need to focus on these junior kids and push them. I do like the fact, that there's even at the Nationals, there's a junior class and there's a 40 plus class at the Euros as well. The world's done it last year, but I think we're kind of, yes, we all guys, we have the money. I agree, but we also need to nurture and bring this new generation of RC kids or people up as well. Like, I don't know, it's a conundrum. Like,
yeah, I mean, even EFRA is supposed to be the ones that are looking out for the future of RC and all that stuff. And I mean, even their arm had to be twisted to just get a junior race. I mean, we had a 40 plus race, but there was never any junior race, never anything to, promote the youngsters in the sport. And well, eventually they did that, so that's good. But I guess when the people, making the decisions and organizing races and all that stuff are 40 plus men, then it's only natural to kind of focus on that and make sure we have a 40 plus race. And then sometimes it takes someone to kind of help them realize that that's not sustainable and need to focus on the kids also.
Yeah, what would you suggest we do then? How do we promote these kids more? How do we because like, now that I'm dwelling deeper into more things, I'm realizing like there's a lot of fast young kids out there in Europe and in Asia as well as in the USA. But how do we keep these kids interested in RC? How do we nurture them to become future champions? That's if we don't give them some spotlight. And I'm not saying not everybody's doing that, because you go to races, they have junior races, they have novice classes, stuff like that, and that's all good. I don't know, maybe we need a under 17 champion, like, or national champion, or I know Raw has like a under 15 champion, I believe, that they do. I know at Dave's races, he does a junior class as well. Like you said, Afra does it. Maybe we should make it a big, if there's going to be a 40 plus nationals, which I'm all for, then there should be a under 15 nationals, or maybe a under 17, like they do in football,
Yeah, like that's one thing that's kind of missing. Now that RC has become so much more professional than before, and increasingly so, we have 40 plus Euros, and I heard that there's going to be 40 plus Worlds. So why not have a junior version of that too? They have in other sports. Why don't we have a junior European? We have the B Euros, but the B Euros, it's a bit like it's similar to the 40 plus Euros, except everyone's there. Well, so since we have the B Euros, we have the 40 plus Euros, why not have a junior one? And that's just the next step.
Yeah, I mean, look at other sports. Let's take I use football or soccer for my American friends. They have an under 17 team. They have I believe they have an under 23 team. They actually have I believe, I'm probably wrong on the age group, but they actually have an under 23 World Cup, I believe.
Yeah. So in my opinion, the B, because they introduced the 40 plus Euros, the B Euros are kind of obsolete in a sense. Why bother with that? Why not just have the 40 plus Euros and then a junior Euros? So then you still have two races, but they both sort of make sense because it's an age group. One is for the new drivers, up-and-coming drivers, and then one is for the old guys, kind of has-beens and going there for some racing and some fun and some beers. So it's a different sort of vibe and different goals with the race. The junior race could be the one that, young kids come in the hobby, they look up to all these pro drivers, they want to be there one day. And then the first step on the way is to, do well at the junior races around the world. So junior European championships, junior world championships, and kind of make a name for themselves there. RCGP, they can join the RC2 class, make a name for themselves there, and then build up their career, like in other sports, other forms of motorsport. Then the good drivers who do well at those races, then they become fully sponsored races, and they go to the real European championships and world championships and RCGP and do well there. So I think something like that could help to keep young drivers interested. Because if I try to think back how it was when I was racing, then just when I started racing, if I imagine that I'm 16 years old, I'm racing, there's a lot of other stuff going on in my life too, other interests, other things I could be doing. Then you take someone who's 16 years old, he goes to the Euros, he goes to the Worlds, he finishes, 30-something, 40-something. It's kind of whatever. This is fun, but it's a long way to the top. Then you imagine he goes to the European Championships and he wins it. Or he finishes third, because it's a junior world championship or European championship. So he's a good driver, but comparing to everyone in the world, he's, 30th, 40th, 50th, which isn't really that special. But then when you only go to a race with the juniors, he's one of the best juniors. That kind of puts everything in perspective for him and also for other people who are watching. So I think that can actually help prolong their interest in someone like that. So they don't get discouraged because they finish 50th at the real worlds, but they get motivated because they are on the podium at the junior worlds. And then they keep at it and they think like, okay, that's step one. Now I've done well at the junior worlds. Now I'm going to try and do well at the actual worlds. So it's like the whole RC industry, it's just a big mess right now. Like there's no structure in anything. And I don't think it's necessarily grown compared to the past. But what's happened is it's become more professional. The drivers are paid more money. There's more professional races and events going on all around the world. Everything about it is gone next level if you compare to 10, 15 or 20 years ago. But the structure is still the same as before. So there's like no structure basically. So if we had a clear sort of way to progress through the sport, I think it would help. Few young drivers coming in, contending at the normal races, but then making a name for themselves at the junior races, moving into the main classes, and then when they're kind of done, moving into the 40 plus class and all those fun classes. I think that could really help if we made an effort to change that.
I agree, because when I was talking to Pelle before we recorded for this podcast, I said to him, a lot more people know who you are now after RCGP, after your RC2 win than they did before. Yes, people knew him in Europe, But I guarantee you more people know who he is around the world, and he's super pumped about it, and that's great to see. Like, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, and that's one of the ideas of the RC2 class, but it's not really the right place. Like, that's not really the right place to truly push for all the new, young guys coming through, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good place, yes, but it's not the main place. The main thing would be a junior European Championship and a junior World Championship. RC2 is more like a sort of B Euros thing, like everyone can go, young, old, whatever. I would like to see like a specific class for young drivers.
Now, the argument would be that they actually do this at the Nationals. They have an under 15. At the Euros, they have a junior final two. But you mean a whole separate event?
It's an afterthought at those events. It's like, oh yeah, who qualified there? Let's do a main for them. I'm talking about an event dedicated to only the youngsters.
Yeah.
So every single participant in the race, practice qualifying, racing, is a junior driver.
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
what we need, and that's what we need to grow.
Yeah.
So if the first year there's 30 drivers there, then that's it, and then you just build from there.
Yeah.
The goal should be that you can go to a Euros or a Worlds of junior drivers and have it fully booked to the 120 drivers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that should be promoted and pushed.
Yes.
That would help us.
Yeah.
In the long term.
And it's not, and like, let's get this right. We're not saying that there shouldn't be a 40 plus class either. We're just,
like I said, we
Yeah.
need both.
Yes, of course.
There shouldn't be a B Euros. Forget about the B Euros. We don't need that. We have a junior Euros and we have a 40 plus Euros. The B Euros are those combined, but that doesn't really. That was a good start. Now it's time to move on.
Yeah.
Now we've separated them. We've already made a separate 40 plus. Now just forget about the B Euros and make a separate junior class.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think the age limit should be? That's always a tricky one.
I don't know. I think it should be 18. I honestly think it should be 18. Because that's like, well, in Europe, when you're 18, I guess you're an adult. And when you're in America, when you're 18, you're pretty much I guess you're an adult, but legally, okay, well, if we're going to say you're adult, when you go 21, obviously you can go do adult things. But I think 18 is generally considered the age of adulthood around the world.
Yeah, I kind of agree, because then if it's 18, you still catch the guys who kind of get into it at 15, 16.
Yeah.
Let's say you get into RC at 16. At 18, you can already be pretty fast.
Yeah.
Like a young guy after 2 years can be pretty good already. So he could go to the junior Euros at 18 and he could do well.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
But at the same time, like a young kid, 12 years old, 13 years old, can compete just as well in RC. So it's not really an advantage to be 18 in a sense.
I mean, look at this kid, Little Bump, Fei Long. He's 7, and he's doing well.
Yeah.
Like, he just has moved up to Open, and I believe he made the A main her at the Lone Star Challenge. Okay, Open is very competitive, like super competitive.
Yeah.
So,
I'm actually curious, like, what would a junior world championships look like now?
I think it would look. I don't know. I think it would look awesome. It would have kids like CJ Jellin in it, Camden Line, because they're young, and then all these other young kids like the Mike Fuller and his kids, are like guys like Ashton, Cody, all these young kids that are fast, but it gives them some spotlight, gives them some limelight, and that, like you said, that will keep them interested. If there can be a 40 plus worlds, there can be a junior worlds as well, because what? Eventually, we're going to die off. Like, we're us dinosaurs. I call myself, I'm getting to be a dinosaur. But we're going to die off, and we're going to just get slower as we get older. Doesn't mean we still can't enjoy racing. But what we can do is pass on the knowledge to these young kids and encourage these young kids to to stay in RC and keep pushing forward. So I kind of, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of been like, I kind of realized we need to start doing more for the young kids in RC. So that's why I'm going to be doing a Future of RC's podcast every month from now on, So That's to promote. That's my way of trying to promote young kids to race and make them feel like they're doing something great as well, which they are, because we need them. This next generation of RC is the ones that are actually going to take this, in my opinion, that are going to take our sport. People don't call it a sport, or scale motorsports, to that next level. And that's where my hope lies.
Yeah, but for that to happen, there needs to be structure behind everything.
Yes. So we have to lay the foundation now.
Yes, exactly. And someone needs to do that.
Yes. But that's a whole different rant for another day.
Yeah.
But what do you guys, the listeners, think? I know a lot of you are parents who have kids. What would you like to see happen with your kids? If you're a 40+ racer, you probably help out kids as well. That's great. But, we just want to get your opinion. I think everybody in RC matters, but we should also put more focus on the juniors as well, and have some structure. So let us know what you think about this subject. That's it for our podcast this weekend. Joseph, do you have anything else you'd like to add before we sign off?
No, not really.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening to the podcast. Thank you for all your continued support. We're working hard to bring you some great content for your listening pleasure. I don't know how you guys listened to me for so long. Check out Track Walk. I actually done a podcast with those guys from up in the Pacific Northwest. Great bunch of guys. They just started doing podcasts. They gave me an open mic and I talked for 3 hours. You can't give me an open mic. Just my introduction was an hour long. But great people. Keep on support all podcasts. You know what I mean? We're all here bringing content for people. Support your local tracks. Help these kids that need to, let's boost these kids. Help anybody that's coming into RC, because we're all ambassadors for RC. So we have to help as many people. And I know a lot of people do that. I know most people do that. But let's just try and keep it like that. And you know what? Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Thank you all for the continued support, and look forward to next week's episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. Please tune in next time for more fresh RC content. And if you can, please also support us on patreon.com/theQuayGrain. We will greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, Nitro is the glory.